Maybe that works. Can y'all hear me now in YouTube land? Yeah, that works.
Yes, it's working. There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
You
yeah.
did it. Yes, you did it. Yep, that's it. You got it.
Yeah, fee, fi, fo, fum. You got that right. Yeah, I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna start off because I don't understand how you can critique African Americans trying to survive in a time where it was extremely hard, and just because a few people have people in their family that were able to go to college and get master's degrees, that's fantastic. But guess what? If you were to do statistical, you know, research on how many black people in the 1920s, 30s who were able to go to college and get degrees, that would be very few and far in between. So, those anecdotal experiences do not count for the countless and numerous black people who were not afforded an education for simple reasons of racism and white supremacy. Let's just keep that a buck. Secondly, I don't understand how you can get on YouTube and go live and be so confident to speak so raggedy about our black ancestors, and when we do stand on the shoulders of right or wrong, because we understand that some things they were going to get wrong. It's no different than all the things that white America got wrong, especially in the highest, most prestigious universities on the planet. They got a lot of stuff wrong, you know? So I don't get that. And I think a lot of times, like maybe you have to like ask yourself, what was the reasoning for like Dr. Francis Cress Welsing to come up with the ISIS paper, right? What was the reasoning for the gentleman who was actually, a white dude to come up with the Iceman inheritance? Like, do y'all ever consider that maybe there were some other arguments out there that they may have been responding to, right? Um, Chilemwe taught me a great deal because I had a discussion with him, asking him questions because it just came to my mind because, an academic is not just gonna, do a paper and say some stuff knowing that it may cause her to lose her job. I'm sure Dr. Crest Wellesley considered it, but I'm also sure she considered that her message was way more important, right? Um, but yeah, so I urge people to study Richard Lynn, Pioneer Fund. It's the who's the other guy, Chilime, that you talk about, to study cold theory and see what those theories say, and then see where these individuals came from. Like y'all would do better harping on that, you know, that would be better because some of those things are still going on today, you know. We still have this Pioneer Fund mess, whatever, whoever funds that are backing a lot of these racist agendas that are happening right now on a president y'all voted for. So miss me.
But I'm glad you ain't. I'm glad you say Chilimbe told you. If you say I told you any motherfucking thing, yo, it's a media cult, yo. I'm glad you didn't do that.
Nah, Chilimbe taught
Jesus
me that.
Christ. Oh, so you mean other people teach shit too, huh?
Oh yeah, all the time. Like Gullah teaches a lot on understanding, like human behavior, just like giving a very clear insight on the reasoning of ancient and early humans, including Queen Nzinga, right? Yeah, Miss Tiffany always has like great logic and insight on the optics of things, on teaching us how to be how to present better, so we can move into better spaces like we've talked about. And she's also the Black Widow. Like you don't see it coming until she got you. So, I appreciate those
You
things.
got me right. She got me today, yo.
Right. She always do.
So I do want to say this though.
Go ahead.
Since we is live, I just would appreciate if people stop trying to make me debate bitch ass Chief X. It's never gonna happen.
Never.
So that's everybody in the server. Don't bring that nigga name up around me, yo, about dude, because I'm saying you can't buy me like that. Not the couple dollars, not the few dollars. I'm good. Can't buy me like that. Simple as that, yo. Like, if money is the only thing that make you work in this world, yo, you don't make it in this world. Not saying it's not valuable, not saying it's important, but all money ain't good money. This nigga then berated people around me. This nigga then straight out lied. This nigga is untrustworthy on a regular basis, yo. Now all of a sudden these Egyptians are African. Remember the moment when they wasn't. They was Mediterranean. We got the videos. They don't play that.
We got
remember all that shit. Right? Now it's this, now it's that, yo. So next time a person bring me up debating that nigga, I'm cussing your motherfucking ass out. That's from 8 to 80 and blind, crippled, crazy. Next time a person trying to make me make peace with that nigga, I'm cussing you out. Yeah. That's what it is. I'm not doing that. Like I already told you, I'm standing on that. I don't need that nigga to be who I'ma be. So I'm standing on that. That nigga need me. I don't need that nigga. Never have, never did. I taught that nigga. The nigga ain't never taught me. So until that nigga get to the point where he surpassed anything I've ever dreamed of, at least, man, fuck that nigga. He know what it is. He know why I don't fuck with him. So if y'all don't know why I don't fuck with him, you ain't been listening close enough. It's all there in front of your face. So at this point, I'm thinking niggas is trying to chuck me off, trying to pay me off. That's what I'm thinking. That's how I'm feeling. So that's where I'm at with that, yo. And so I'm asking kindly, if people in this server and any other server, whether it be the Tribe Media server, whether it be the Pseudo Killas server, I'm humbly asking you, don't do that. Don't do that. Simple as that, yo. The way the nigga lied on people around me, the way he berated people around me, the way he deceitfully lied on my business and deceitfully lied on this and that. I didn't say I was gonna bait you. And then I did, but I didn't, but I did. And the whole thing, yo, is wishy-washy drunk talk. I don't need to debate a drunk to make my point. I'm way moving. I got some other shit going, yo. And I'm saying I'm enjoying the day-to-day conversations in different Discord. I had a great time today. And try me to. I actually had people tell me they was Uncle Tom. They fucked my head up. I was like, wow, I never thought that. I never actually thought that. It was only two people that I thought was Uncle Tom's. And that was that bitch ass nigga Chief X. And then when I get mad at Corey, I call him that because I'm just mad at that nigga. I don't really think about it. I get mad at the nigga. But Chief X, yo, he's an Uncle Ruckus, Uncle Tom nigga to me. There is no way this nigga always got this other side. Ain't no way with nigga. Be motherfucking hey.
I won't even call him Uncle Tom. I mean Sambo, because if you actually read the literature of Uncle Tom's Cabin, Uncle Tom was a hero. He wasn't no bootlicking dude.
So we make him Ruckus?
Yeah, Ruckus. Remember, if you read the story of Uncle Tom, Uncle Tom, he was the slave that when other slaves didn't have enough cotton, he'd put his cotton in their bag so they wouldn't get beat. And then when them two girls ran away, he didn't tell. Facts. Sambo told. You know, Uncle Tom was a hero.
They would actually be a Sambo. Like what people call Uncle Tom is actually a Sambo. Uncle
Sambo. Yeah.
So
all right, so there you go.
Yeah, so
Uncle Ruckus Sambo, nigga. That's what he is to me, yo. Correct. But you can't find a video on the channel when this nigga is showing some type of love to black people. He only pick out the mistakes. He stay on that shit and how crazy we is and how we don't know this and how we that, how we niggas need that. And nigga, it's the most craziest ride ever, yo. So until that nigga get his brain right, until that nigga deal with me like he know he need to deal with me, yo, we ain't never doing it. He know what it's gonna take. Nigga gotta look me in my motherfucking eyes and say all that shit he said, yo, he got to do that. Ain't no other way. He got to do that.
Yeah, he got that little man complex. Bad.
Tom, lived in the shoe. House so small, don't know what the fuck to do.
That's some Napoleon.
Tom, he ain't Uncle Tom, he Tom Thumb, yo.
Tom, nigga lived in the shoe. The fuck house so small, he don't know what to do. That nigga sit in the kitchen and he in his living room.
Right. So I think another piece that I wanted to y'all stupid. I cannot. Another
piece, he got a hamster wheel in there, motherfucker.
I'm done with you. Not a hamster wheel. Another piece.
That time the nigga had the chicken box, so I got to fight, yo.
Stop.
The nigga had the coffee tables. You know what? Go ahead, Juju. I'm gonna get him back. Go ahead, Juju. I'm gonna get this nigga. I got the clips.
You talking about the part when his TV fell or something?
No, I ain't even talking. That was hilarious. I'm talking the nigga he was gonna have a fight at his house. Normally, you have a fight. You got a nice buffet out there.
Yeah, you got about at least
10 seats. Man, the nigga had 3 chairs and the little tables. You know the little small tables you fold up.
Don't do him.
When your guests come over,
all the little TV tables, you sit down and eat watch TV at the same time.
Yeah. He had them. He had them set up, and he had some motherfucking Kentucky Fried Chicken, small ass box where everybody get one piece of chicken. The nigga had a small box of chicken. I'm like, what the fuck, nigga? And like some biscuits. I was like, huh? These nigga everybody get one piece of chicken, yo.
So
damn.
I need you to stop. Never mind. But I also wanted to say I find it extremely yes, I find it extremely hypocritical, right?
Good. I don't take none of that shit back. Go ahead.
Because the same note that individuals want to critique Black people in academia, because a lot of these people were in academia. If they have a honorary doctorate, they were in academia. And let's put truth to it. Honorary doctorates were not given out like they were given out now. Honorary doctorates actually had to be earned, right? I also don't think people understand that there is more than one way to achieve PhD status or to actually get a doctorate. And there's some unconventional ways to do that. You don't necessarily have to be in school, but if you can find someone to be under someone's tutelage, like another academic in the field that you're trying to ascertain this degree in, and you can be under their tutelage, and they can, help you through your dissertation, you can receive a PhD or academic diploma without going the full extent of college. That does happen. It has happened. So I thought people knew this. I guess some people don't. However, to sit on YouTube and to critique Black academics does not make you any better than anybody. If you really cared and wanted to critique, you will find yourself in academic spaces doing such, not on YouTube, punching down on Black people. It's weird. I got more.
I don't know. I think I'm matter of fact, I'm gonna have Montoya come through. He does an excellent job of explaining how history is told, right? And how it is. So there's a whole books on how to understand history, right? And to make your conversation void of the cultural context to it is the most craziest thing ever. So what I do know is that young people today, all right, include myself, we missed it, right? When I was born, right, they 1967, so they shoot Martin Luther King in the head in 1968, yo. All right, and they shoot him for what? For fighting for the right, the civil rights, man, and just the climate of the day. And so I don't remember. I don't know what that extreme terror is like, yo, to be afraid for your children when you let them go out to school, right? We let them, and I'm not talking about because you're gonna get shot down some wild ass drive by somebody in your community. I'm saying for people who ain't never had your back, right? To know that at any moment your children can just be taken away from you by people who claim to be public servants, whether the police department, the fire department, just period. And we don't know what that feels like, to not to be able to use the bathroom or go into a particular library or go into a particular coffee shop. We can't even phantom that. We have no recollection of it. And so this is where I draw the line at. Based off of the fact that we have no recollection of it, only through newspapers and some television clips and stuff like that, We try to connect ourselves to try to say, what the fuck was they going through? What's they going through? So when people talk about different individuals and refuse that cultural context, right, is the worst thing you can actually do for trying to understand that person and their behavior. Like, you really can't do it. And so for me, the cultural context is important because, one, we will never understand that extreme hate that was exacted on them. We don't know what that pain is. And so for us not to return to that, we need to get a good feeling of what it actually was. The moment we forget what exactly it was that our ancestors was going through is the moment you will return that situation. I'll give you a better example, and I'm going to close it out. The moment I forget the pain and suffering, right, that I put myself through, I put my friends through, I put my family through when I was running around in them streets, it's the moment I will return to living like that because I actually forget. I forget the pain and the suffering. So it becomes new again, like, okay, like it's nothing. So we don't know what it feels like to say, my kid just peed on themselves because the bathroom was marked white only. And to take it to the white-only bathroom, I could risk us going to jail, risk us getting hung, or something wild, getting raped, just craziness, So people live through that, right? We don't know what it's like to want to spit in the food of white people every day you go to work. White people got a lot of spit in their goddamn on food, bro. And you would say, why would they do that? That's like critiquing them. Why would you just spit in them? Man, you don't know what it feels like. So I think we've gotten so far away from it, right, that we can't even make an honest critique on people. All we see is they wasn't scientific, they wasn't that. That's not what I set out to do. I never set out to take a scientific explanation, and maybe it's my fault, and put it on some people who wasn't even trying to make a scientific explanation. They was trying to just combat the wild ass conversation around them. The wild, you know how wild that conversation was? It was 12 million people wild. Color your skin and how the color of your skin made you deficient. So then why would I get mad at the person who got another wild conversation around skin that combats that? Why would I sit there and say, well, that's not scientific, I'm not going for that? Yeah, we can sit back and say that no, it was not scientific, but it was actually part for the cause. Yeah. You talking about people Facts. Who did not enslave people.
Facts.
For 12 million. What the fuck, matter of fact, don't nobody even know Frances Cress Wells no more like that. Her matter of fact, when 13 kids, we're going to get 13 kids, let me tell you. So y'all think I'm playing, right? We're going to get them. We're going to get them. We're going to get them. But to think that Frances Cress Wells and them affected white people like they affected us, it's I don't want to use the word. I'm not going to say it. I'm just not going to say that. All right, I'm gonna get off that because I don't want people to think just because you don't actually agree or you voice your opinion and we're in disagreement that all of a sudden you become an Uncle Tom. That's not what makes you an Uncle Ruckus, right? What makes you an Uncle Ruckus is that you refuse to accept what actually happened to you, and you think you need to pull yourself up by your bootstrings. Like, really? Really? So I don't want to say that. I'm gonna reserve that for Chief X for real. I'm gonna reserve it for that nigga because he's the splitting image of Uncle Ruckus. Need to have a memo on that nigga. That's what we're gonna memo this nigga up. That's what we're gonna do. We got you, bro. Like, what else is it? But Francis Cress Welsing and Dr. Benz and all that, man, don't nobody stand on the pseudoscientific information that they promoted or whatever they did. Ain't who's standing on that, man? We practice scientific literacy, but we smart enough to know, yo, they in a time period where the white people shit was just crazy. Sometimes it take crazy to get crazy. So I'm saying I ain't got it in me, yo. I'm just never judging people for what they do in extreme measures, yo. So I don't know how to even remake an environment like that, yo. Like, we so far from that, yo. Matter of fact, most of us wouldn't even have made it back then, yo. How many of y'all gonna walk to the other side of the street when a white person walk down the street, yo? Ain't none of y'all walking on the other side. You're gonna say, I ain't doing it. What's up? Right? All right. How many of y'all gonna say, I'm not gonna use that bathroom? I know if I gotta go, yo, I'm gonna use the bathroom and just take the punishment, yo. And see, I got a history of not listening to white people. Got a whole record of not listening to white people. So I already know what I was gonna do. I was gonna fake them out. I was gonna move, slide side to side, get out the way, move up, get what I gotta get, break law. I'll break law. That's what I did. So if I'm given the same person I am now, put me back in that situation, I'm gonna break law. I reject foolery. I'm gonna do it. But how many of y'all would make it? So I don't know, y'all. Just think it's an unfair critique. An unfair critique on Krasinga, on the Zinga. I mean, to just make her out to be just a slaver across the board. Okay, yeah, yo, but can we talk about it, though? Can we have a healthy conversation around it? Right? And Uncle Ruckus in fine form jump on the live and talk about how Nzinga was some kind of sexual dysfunction and had black women get raped and all. Like, what? Really?
Oh my God. What?
You just said that.
Oh my God.
I was like, huh? Uncle Ruckus.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's him, yo. That's what he do. He do that, yo. So I'm gonna stop critiquing other people that's in that little universe he got. He got a little universe, yo, where motherfuckers is playing with that nigga. They really playing with that nigga. They don't respect what that nigga say at all, but they play with him. And he's so damn scared to get out of pocket because he's scared they're gonna put the nigga out. That's the truth. Hey, T-Vex, I'm gonna be a better friend to you than everybody else around you. Nigga, they will put your ass out if you get slick. I dare you put one of the niggas' name in the video and start talking shit. I dare you, yo. You don't got no heart, do you? Yeah, see? Scared, nigga, because you ain't got nowhere else to do that drunk talk, yo. You can only do that drunk talk over there with them. You do the drunk talk with them. 4:00 in the morning, posting crazy. Nobody want to watch your stuff, yo. Get slick, Chief Vex. See, I can get slick. Can't nobody put me nowhere because I got my own thing. I got Pseudo Killas, right? That's owned by all the Pseudo Killas. And then if they put me out of there, I can go to the community skeptics and look at the motherfucking wall and read some nursery rhymes if I want to.
Yeah, because we about to put you out. Because you've been sleeping with the enemy, and we don't like that.
Oh man, CGG. There you go. I don't like the inference.
I get you good, boys. Stay triggered.
You got me. I don't like the inference. But it's fair though. It's actually par for the course because that's what everybody making for no reason, yo. But I think at the end of the day, yo, the real problem child is Chief Vex, yo. He the one that's he's the real problem child. He's the Uncle Ruckus for real, yo. He fuck up conversation, yo. He gonna say he started the conversation. Get that nigga money. He started the Francis Cresswell conversation.
I disagree. I'm giving everybody the Uncle Ruckus title until they can actually deal with stuff that is affecting us today, now, at this very second. And it ain't Francis Cresswell. It ain't Naeem Akbar. It ain't none of them. It ain't Dr. Ben. It ain't none of them. Right? There's actually people like Dan Calloway. There's actually people like Top Cats. There's actually people like Yaki, 19 Keys, and Donald effing Trump. Like, when y'all can do a show to talk about the BS that he's putting America through, then I may respect y'all a little bit. But if y'all could just go if y'all gonna keep uplifting Elijah Muhammad and shitting on Naeem Akbar and Dr. Francis Cress Welsing and Dr. Ben and John Henry Clark, I got nothing for you. Like, it's weird. It's very weird. It's very weird.
You mean you don't agree? You mean about to ask you, yo? So since can't nobody think for themselves, man, this motherfucker.
Go ahead. Because I read ISIS paper in college. You feel me? Taking Naeem Akbar's class on FSU's campus. You feel me? I think was he president of the African American Psychological
sure.
Association of Black Psychologists. He was the president of that. President. So I'm trying to figure out.
If you look at some of his books, it had a religious tone to it. All that he was trying to connect people back. You know that time period when we was trying to make Africa super sacred, yo, and the way they act and their conduct was based off of they social system that they had developed in nature. Remember those conversations, yo?
Yes.
And everybody was trying to push us to understand Africa and how understand Africa they had better social cultural systems, yo. Like Diab's talked about the two cradle theory and all that. Yeah, I mean, if you look through, go ahead.
I'm gonna let you finish. Sorry.
Oh, I'll finish it up. If you look through the lens of today, that would not be true, right? But it was emphatic about the African culture was just better. Like, why wouldn't you think that though? But go ahead.
I didn't necessarily get that out of his books because I was really reading it for the sake and point of how do we find more effective ways to deal with children or adults that look like me and you in psychological distress, right? Because certain things are more effective if they are indeed culturally based. And I don't see why people don't get that. And I'll give a good example. I think the ACEs test is a best example because that's something that we all know and that's kind of current. Okay. When the ACEs test first came out, it was dealing with middle class populations and mostly non-Black people, and that's fact, right? Mostly white people, middle class, upper middle class. That's the first test of ACEs. Now, when Dr. Nadine Burke Harris, she used to be Surgeon General in California. She came across, this ACEs survey, and she studied the research. Now, she was servicing communities that were predominantly Black and brown. Understanding that the survey was still effective, it did not cover all the things that Black and brown people would go through in their neighborhood. So there were some amendments to the ACEs test, and that would be culturally like within that neighborhood dynamic. Well, maybe more of poverty, but it did include things that they would deal with mostly. And I would still say culturally because some things are culturally and then some things are due to poverty. But we had to include those. We had to look at that group of people, how they live in their environment, and what's affecting them opposed to what's affecting a middle class white American. And they had to make adjustments to the ACEs test so it would be more effective and include people in those situations is what I'm saying. So same thing in psychology, right? You can't. I think it's almost impossible to deal with a young Black man who's in trauma and not understand his culture or have any type of cultural element in how you diagnose them and how you treat them, right? Because they still got to live and go back to that, right? So it just behooves me how we want to shit on everything, but these things have a purpose. Um I'm not apologizing for maybe the extremeness because over time, and Naeem Akbar has taught many people, and I'm sure he has advised many more who went on to be great, African American psychologists. And I'm sure they're not taking everything in his book, Breaking the Chains of Psychological Slavery, verbatim. I'm sure that they evolved that, I'm pretty sure about that, So because I know some people. Let's just say that. So that's just my diatribe. If anyone
So I'm gonna go down.
disagrees,
I'm gonna go down the line. I'm gonna go down the line and ask people. So, do you think that some of Naeem Akbar's work, some of Francis Caswell's work, some of Dr. Ben's work, would that be considered pseudoscience today?
Yeah. Y'all hear me okay?
I hear you now.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, of course. Did you hear me?
Yeah, can y'all hear me? Did you hear my question?
Did you hear me respond? I said yes.
Okay, all right. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Who are you calling?
Calling Chip. What do you think?
Ask the question again. Say it again.
Would you consider some of the work of Dr. Ben, Naeem Akbar, Francis Caswell, would you consider some of that work pseudoscientific today?
Yeah. Well,
well, I'm gonna ask everybody, then you can go explain. You can give your answer. Give your answer, and then we explain where you at with it.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Okay.
Conversation. All right. How about you, Juju?
I'm gonna say I'm not sure, because some of these white people
don't explain it. Don't explain it yet. Don't explain it. Don't explain it.
I don't know.
Malcolm, what would you think if you can come off mute? What would you say?
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, bro. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Glad to be a part of the panel. I'm not very familiar with Naeem Akbar's work.
Mm-hmm.
But friends of Chris Wilson, I read the Chris theory, and I would say, yeah, there are some pseudoscientific ideas. Mm-hmm. That's how we would consider it in 2025. Yeah.
Okay.
But then Dr. Ben kind of probably half and half, probably 50-50.
Okay, I like that. Hey, Gary, you want to add something to that? Oh, you on mute.
Gary don't really, he not gonna get involved in conversations that are specific to. I'm just gonna say that.
I got you.
He's very respectful about that. We try, but he ain't finna say nothing.
Okay.
Gary, you can say something though.
That's the steer clear. I don't even mean to ask him. I thought he might. Hey, Vance, where you at?
Barbecue.
Come on, me for a second. Nope, he ain't in there. Hubert.
Yo.
Yeah, what do you think?
In my honest opinion, I'm leaning towards
Okay.
Basically.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, Gideon, where you at, Gideon? Because Gideon don't understand shit. I ain't gonna fire you up.
Nah, Gideon good.
I ain't gonna fire you up, Gideon. Don't feed into it. Yo, I'm playing. Yo,
Gideon don't even hear us.
Don't do it. Yeah, don't do it, yo. You Gideon go too far. You think I go to Gideon, go way over there.
What about you?
He must be working. So
what about
hold
Omar?
on. So my answer would be, I would absolutely consider that pseudoscience, right? I would. I'm not even familiar with Naeem Akbar, but I heard Shepard read some things. And well, okay. But first of all, for something to be, let's get this clear. For something to be pseudoscience, it's got to be represented as science. And maybe that's the distinction we need to make, yo, right there. How about that? That's a good point. So, all right. Anybody can jump with their explanation on why they said what they said.
I'll go first.
Go ahead, Tim.
Because as time moves forward, we have better information. And I'm just gonna just quickly the example I had gave earlier, just today, so to speak, the doctors was smoking in the doctor's offices. We would, nobody thought that smoking could be so harmful. But if you see a doctor do that today, you're gonna go out of your mind like, what's wrong with them? Don't they know what smoking does? So in that particular time, there was a lot of in different areas of society where you would think science should have been applied. They did it to the best of their ability according to what they knew at that time. So we wouldn't have considered it. They wouldn't have considered it pseudo then. But because we are in the future, we have better. We have better information, more information. We would not carry that same type of misinformation or harmful science or whatever forward today. I probably didn't say that last part right, but y'all get what I'm trying to say.
I heard you clearly. I heard you clearly, sis.
Pretty good. Yeah, that was a great example. Juju. You want to explain your answer?
I'm a little bit more radical. So I'm always going to be in a position that now that I know more information, because Chilembe had taught me some things because I was asking questions that, so I just want people to think, like, what do you think that, predominantly white psychology we're saying about Black boys back in the day? So I think
we're gonna visit that. I think we need to visit that. But go ahead. I think that's a great thing for us. We're gonna add that.
I'm thinking like our Black intellectuals are probably extreme, but I'm always thinking now it was in response to something that was way more extreme. Okay, because even today it's still remnants of those same things. When it's young Black boys involved in a crime, they're always deemed as men or adults, right? Even in the description. So it's kind of some of that same racist psychological warfare work going on, okay? And that happens all the time. And I know a couple, I forgot, I think Lamont Hill and some other people, whenever something happens with a young Black boy, they always point out how the media would portray them in a certain light. But when it comes to a young white boy that did a crime, it's totally different, That's just a small example of what I mean. And I'll land it there.
All right, Slimbe.
So I would posit, what's the difference between outdated and pseudoscience? I would want to look at that distinction.
Yeah, it's a difference. Pseudoscience. So a person religion wouldn't be considered pseudoscience unless they tried to represent it as science. So for something to be pseudoscientific, you can look it up. Matter of fact, we'll get it. Something has to be trying to act like science. So if Naim Agua said this is a scientific theory that I'm putting out, that then you would measure it up against science and say that. But if he's putting out like a religious treatise, right, and talking and trying to combat the things of that day, then that wouldn't actually be considered pseudoscience. We just would say, that wouldn't jive with academia today, based on what we understand about the brain and psychology, right? That it wouldn't have a lot of value today, maybe, right? But you couldn't call it pseudoscience if motherfuckers weren't trying to make it scientific. So the melanin theory, you know what I'm saying? That piece right there, right? It's trying to give a biological understanding of what melanin is, and so that would be pseudoscientific right there. So that's the,
Would that be pseudoscientific, or would it just be outdated and no longer relevant based on information we got?
I'm not, you know what? That's a real good question right there, yo. I think we had to, slight, tap on the brakes and really look into that. But I know today, one thing is for sure, if you promoting the melanin shit today, yo, that's pseudoscientific because we completely understand what it is, right? We understand the mechanisms at place. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure if
Are we saying the people who are promoted today, would they be pseudoscientific, or are we saying the work that they did back then, is it considered pseudoscientific?
Yeah,
That's two separate things.
Yeah, and thanks for that clarity, y'all. I was just thinking basically that their work they was promoting, would we consider it pseudoscientific today, and I said today, or what we consider, like you said, outdated. Which one would that fall under? Man, I think that's a good that's just
so
a good.
I would say if someone was attempting to promote it today, like today they're talking about her theories or their work as being scientific, I would consider that person promoting pseudoscience. But it's not because it's pseudoscience, because it's promoting something that it's outdated one and has already been proven incorrect. So I couldn't go back to Lamarck. That's a prime example. Right, Lamarck, and say his work was pseudoscientific because he was just simply wrong.
No, you couldn't say that. But you could say that scientific racism was, though. And a lot of evidence.
But that's a different step, because they were saying, in a sense, it was science, and they were making it up.
Yeah, that's
right.
Correct.
So correct. That's different. But I'm talking about, like, so we got the melanin theory, she posits these things, and positing a hypothesis, something like that, doesn't necessarily make you pseudoscientific.
So wait a minute. She also coupled that with like the different balls and how the white ball is the last ball on the table. I know she wasn't trying to be scientific with that. She was speaking in metaphors, right? And philosophy. Right? It was a way of trying to get you to see something. Like I kind of understand it. That was an interesting way she did that. I know she wasn't trying to be scientific with that. I think that really.
She could have. Go ahead, Mac Rob. I see you. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Mac Rob.
No, I was just gonna say, and I like the discussion, and I like that people get a chance to see that there's a diversity of ideas among the pseudo killers, and that we're not a group team. To that point, for me. My question is, who is her audience? Like, who is she writing this to? I do hold her to an academic standard, right? I think she was a doctorate degree holding individual, right? She went through the formal process and understand how to present ideas. And so I get, like, I see both sides of the coin. So the major question for me is she writing to my mom, or is she writing to the doctors in her field? Like, is she actually pushing forth a theory, or was this more of a hypothetical that she would just give it to the layperson? So that would be my question on making the strong claim about how pseudoscientific or not her concept were. Because we know, I think, what was it, 1970 or so, she wrote the book, that there was information about anthropology, right? And evolution, etc.
Right.
We didn't have genetics. Right. We did have evolution, and I think that if she was pushing this to a consensus of scientific minds, he did step out of her discipline to introduce her idea, right? Right. Meaning, and this may have been early on, where there was just now moving into the interdisciplinary approach. I think we saw that with the with Diop's now, right? Where at that conference, they had an interdisciplinary approach at that time.
Facts.
And the second challenge is this. We in 2025 Googling shit at the drop of a dime.
Right.
So it's easy to Monday night quarterback what people's ideas were when they didn't have a transmission of ideas circulating that soon, right? It'd be a while before, you had to go to a library to get these articles. You know what I mean? You're moving from your house to your car to the library down the street, fighting traffic and all this. Now, man, I'm on my phone doing it. So it's extremely easy to critique these experts on whatever stance they had. I think that's a fair assessment from me.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure.
I just wanted to caveat a little bit because Vasa is saying something important, and I want to see if you agree. So, are we saying that they were just wrong, or are we saying that they were deliberately feeding us misinformation? Because if they,
no, I wouldn't do that.
Because if they were wrong, they were just wrong. But if they were being deliberate, then that would actually be pseudo. You don't think? Because I think
they was deliberate and trying to combat color racism.
Scientific racism.
I think she,
yeah,
because remember they said your skin color made you evil,
right?
Made you feel less pain, made you less human. Although all this shit was in the game, though, that's what she was up against. And I think you made the point before we even went live. You made the point that she at points she was fighting against other academics, other niggas in the field, like talking that wild ass shit. Other professionals talking that wild ass shit like that.
Facts.
And we know this because a lot of people she was fighting against end up helping that man write that book, The Bell Curve. Am I correct in that?
Facts.
We debated William Shockley. That's correct.
Yeah, so how do we leave that out? Like, why is that not a serious point right there? So, man, yeah, it's definitely worth the discussion in the proper context, and I appreciate the varying points and opinions on that, man. I think that's, we always keep a healthy environment, yo. I just had a loudest fucking mouth, yo, but that don't mean shit. And nobody listening to me being loud. At the end of the day, people gonna say, yo, settle that shit down, yo. What you say, where that's at? It always end up there. Yeah, I hear you. What did we see? Right? And I gotta bring this up, yo. Right? That non-healthy environments will never allow you to voice your opinion. Right? And your opinion is just as good as everybody else's opinion. When you make a scientific statement, you need to have a scientific source that expresses exactly what you're saying. That's how we get down around here. So it ain't even the people we judging, right? Because everybody on the even playing field, it's your source that will separate you in these conversations right here, yo. Now who cracked the both best jokes? Now who got the best YouTube channel? Right here on what we do for real, yo. All that shit go out the window, yo. And I think the community need to hear that, yo. All that shit go out the window, yo. Yo. It goes out the window, yo. Yeah, yo. You said it's slick, nigga. But I don't agree with that because of this. Have you read this? And pick up the Sosa, man. Pseudo Kill Official.
I like this record. That's mine.
$500, Hubert. $500, Hubert.
Oh, who is that? Get it?
Hubert.
Yeah, they get it.
Goss.
Yo.
$500. $500.
Yo, in my opinion, I kind of feel like leaning toward what Ms. Tiff was saying, like the outdated stuff, but it's kind of outdated to me as far as the brain. We know all that's outdated information. So the brain should have already adapted to information that, like, we know that was bogus already. So far as
he got a phone call.
Oh, all right. Vasa was great. Say something, wasn't it?
Welcome, Vasa. If you want to say something, you're on mute.
Yeah, I'm ready.
what's going on, y'all? I'm getting ready for work. Give me just a second. I'm gonna chime back in.
All right.
Appreciate you, bro. Omar Reed, where you at?
Yo, but like I was saying, as far as the brain evolving, we should have evolved from that information already. As far as that issue.
Okay.
Because when you start being gullible, that's when you start being susceptible for misinformation. So I just think it's outdated, but not far as for the time. I don't think it's the best down and valid.
Okay.
But I do feel like it was at this point in time it's kind of outdated. Whoever pushing it, pseudo. Yeah, I mean, without the evidence. I think it's wild to me at times.
Yeah, it's wild. I can agree with that. It's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen anyone push that book recently.
What's up?
We can't hear you. Go ahead, bro.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you now. Go ahead. How you doing?
No, I was just saying basically what Rob was saying. Francis Cress Wilson and Dr. Ben, they were academics, so when they presented something, it was, I guess they were expecting you to expect it was academic, so I'm saying they flirting with pseudo.
Yeah, I like that. Y'all said they flirting.
But even with that notion, you have to prove that they was intentionally lying. You have to prove that they are making this stuff up, not presenting new ideas, but they're deliberately lying for it to be pseudo. Otherwise, it's just wrong. Like scientists can be wrong all the time and not be pseudo. They're just wrong in their approach.
Yeah, that's real. That's real.
So, we've conflated that to where anytime anybody's wrong, they automatically pseudo, and that's becoming a problem within the community.
Yeah, so being wrong in an academic setting ain't necessarily pseudo, is what you're saying?
Nope, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, hell, the student can flunk a test. That don't make him a pseudo. It just means he was wrong.
And in actuality, when you're doing scientific experiments and things like that, like if you're trying to, prove a hypothesis or falsify it, you're gonna make a lot of mistakes and you're probably gonna get a lot of stuff wrong, right? So I think getting things wrong is a part of science. It's because I think when you get things wrong, you can figure out what's actually correct. Like you can figure out the answer. That's a part of it. So there's nothing wrong with being wrong. And I totally get what Vasa's saying. And I don't think Dr. Francis Cress Welsing was wrong deliberately. I think I actually believe that it was in response to some far more erroneous theories about Black people, right? So.
Oh, okay. Well, if
an example of pseudo would be, smoking was used as an example. If Marlboro put out documentations that they have cigarettes that can cure cancer, and they falsified the information, at that point, it's pseudoscience being presented. It's a lie, intentionally misleading people.
Yeah, that's what makes it pseudo when it's intentional.
I don't think it's that. No. That's not what makes something pseudo. Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna read the definition. Hold on.
Yeah, I can say let's make sure we are all in lockstep on pseudoscience.
Yeah,
that's two definitions: pseudoscience and pseudo, though, right?
I got it. Hey, what's the problem? Mute out.
Yeah, Omar.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to mute
Omar.
Omar.
Mute for a minute. Mute out for 1 second.
All right, here I go. I'm gonna mute out right now.
All right, here you go.
He's driving.
It says pseudoscience consists of statements, beliefs, or practices that claim, keyword, they claim to be both scientific and factual, but are incompatible with the scientific method. Goes on to say pseudoscience. So that's important to get that. Do we got that part right there, yo?
That agrees with what I just said, though.
We do, but I think Juju asked a question about delineating pseudoscience from pseudo. Is that correct, sis?
Yes.
All right, so we got that part. Next part says pseudoscience is often characterized by contradictory, exaggerated, or unfalsifiable claims, reliance on confirmation bias rather than the rigorous attempts to refutation. It says lack of openness to evaluation by other experts, absence of systematic practices when developing hypotheses, and continued adherence long after the pseudoscientific hypotheses have been experimentally discredited. So yeah, it is not the same as junk science. And so yeah, I would say that that's the point, that now that we understand what melanin is, anything they were saying has been discredited, right? And so that's why the promotion of that shit right now would be definitely considered pseudoscience, right? People will say, well, back in the day, they understood what melanin was. I'm not sure how much understanding they had on melanin back, baby, in the 90s. I'm gonna have to look that up. Right? But once again, I'm not sure that she was trying to say it was scientific. But maybe you don't have to say it's scientific to be pseudoscience. But that first portion, that definition is very interesting, though, yeah.
So you don't think she was
you don't
using
mind,
the available
can
science?
y'all do pseudo by itself? So
hold on. What's going on, man? Yeah, that pseudo is different. Yeah, you use that's just false. Absolutely. So this is a different thing. What's going on? No question. Where you at? There's no question. What's up, brother?
Man, I come back home and ended up sick, man. The bug must have got me on the boat.
You got that norovirus. That's why I don't go on ships. That's why I don't go on cruises. I just fly out there because, I want to get off of that little capsule. You know? I'm sorry. I'll pick on you later.
Hey, laugh at my pain, Juju.
I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad you're feeling better.
I didn't say nothing about feeling.
The thing, Dr. Layla.
You sound good.
Hold on, Seth. I'm gonna let you go. Let me read the pseudo now. This is a different thing. Here you go. Pseudo. Okay. Pseudo means false. Is a prefix used in a number of languages, often to mark something as a fake or insincere version. There you go. So, yeah. Not right, false, wrong. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So what y'all think about that?
I completely agree. And that's more or less in the context in which we use the word also.
Read it again.
As for pseudoscience.
Read it again?
Yeah, sorry, Cedric, let him read it again. Sorry. Pseudo.
No problem. Go ahead.
All right. I'll go back here. Hold on.
I want listening.
All right. Okay. Repeat it. It says pseudo is a prefix used in a number of languages, often to mark something as a fake or insincere version. There you go. That's interesting, right?
It is. I would say if we're going to talk about pseudoscientific, I would talk about the Discovery Institute creation science. It has been thoroughly debunked, proven not to be scientific. So the continuous promotion of that hypothesis as if it is science, that is pseudoscience. In the same vein, I would put works like They Came Before Columbus, confirmation bias, not peer-reviewed, etc., pseudoscience, yet claiming to be scientific. And I would claim Dr. Layla Africa as being pseudoscientific as well, because he always tried to underpin his melanin claims with scientific rigor.
Thank you, Cedric. I just wanted to also add the second one you read, the definition of pseudo, we can just think of the pseudonym, like certain authors will write books under a pseudonym. So just to get people to see how that term pseudo is used in different parts of our language. So like when you said it's fake, not the real thing. So that's kind of, a little, and then like specifically pseudoscientific, because, so that's an interesting, but there are.
Yeah. To add on to that, for example, I wouldn't classify Dr. Frances Cress-Welsing as pseudo or pseudoscientific. She had a hypothesis. Her hypothesis maybe was outdated or wrong, right? Because that is also something that a scientist could be simply outdated. Doesn't make them pseudo. Pseudoscientific would be intentionality. Right. And when you're using the scientific method, you can be just wrong. I can probably agree that she was wrong, but to claim that she was a pseudo, that is pushing the envelope in terms of what this lady is. Dr. Ben, we can have the argument, But Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, no, she was just wrong. Just like Sheikh Anta Diop's two cradle hypothesis. He was just simply wrong. End of story. He didn't push it any further. It didn't gain any traction. He didn't continue to promote it. So now if we out here refer to that hypothesis as if it is scientific, that would be now pseudo and pseudoscientific. But they were just wrong.
I know some people who are still, and I'm like, come on, bro. You're too smart to be that dumb. Anyway, does anybody want to pull up Cold Theory and show their screen so we can read it so people can understand what we're talking about? Just like some of the things that were being said in academia, you know, and the reason why maybe some African American scholars kind of clap back. I think they're more clapbacks than anything, you know. And I don't ever remember or ever hearing about Dr. Frances Cress Welsing positioning that theory as scientific. I don't know. I could be wrong. Nobody want to share your screen and give the Cold Theory? Because I can't. Okay, bet. I'll do it on another show.
No, I'm going to drop a link. I can't share my screen, but I'll drop a link so whoever can share the screen can read it.
Yeah, I'm live. I can't do that. That's too much. So I would need someone else to do it. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, but Cold Theory was.
And again, what you want me to do?
You see the Cold Theory I just posted in the general chat?
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Yes. All right.
So this is one of the theories that was floating around for quite some while, really, by some consider him a prominent scientist. Shockley is much more devious in his work. But this is all coming from a pioneer fund that started in like the early 1900s and has been funding quite a bit.
Go ahead and read the article.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, read it. You want to read it?
All right. Yeah, somebody named Scott McGreal, MSc. I don't even know what an MSc is. All right. Cold Winters and the Evolution of Intelligence. Lynn's theory of the evolution of intelligence does not fit the fact. Keep going. All right. Yeah. There is, I ain't know nobody want to jump on that. All right.
On the what? Jumping on what? Cold Winters.
Read it.
Lynn's theory.
Need some readers.
Go ahead, Juju.
Oh my God. Damn.
You can't hear it?
Yeah,
hear me?
I got it.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. All right. There's continuing controversy about inter-ethnic differences in IQ and why these might exist. One of the most heated areas of debate is what role is any, if any, is played by genetic differences between ethnic groups. Richard Lynn, they got two sources right there, proposed that because European and Asian environments feature extremely cold winters, the inhabitants of these regions historically face greater challenges to survival than Africans. Interesting. All right. He claimed that these survival challenges would have created selection pressures for greater intelligence. Africans, on the other hand, live in tropical conditions all year round and hence did not need as much intelligence. Lynn 2006 has presented data correlating the intelligence of different ethnic groups with the severity of their winter climates. However, there are some anomalies in the data, and the theory itself is based on questionable assumptions. In a recent paper on race differences and penis size, which I have critiqued elsewhere, Lynn, 2013, claimed that there is widespread consensus about the cold winters theory. In support of this assertion, he cited papers by Satoshi Kanazawa. Satoshi. Okay, Kanazawa. Donald Templer and himself, widespread consensus indeed. All of these authors are proponents of race realism. Race realism. What's that? The belief that differences between ethnic groups in intelligence and other factors have a genetic and evolutionary basis. This is like citing the opinions of a group of one's friends as representing accepted mainstream thinking. In spite of Lynn's claims, the cold winters theory is a speculative one that seems to be based mainly on cherry picking of evidence to support race realist ideas and ignoring everything else that does not fit the theory. Acknowledge. The theory of cold winters proposes that survival in colder climates poses two evolutionary novel problems that will have required high intelligence to solve: finding food and keeping warm. All right. Kanazawa, that's in 2012. Kanazawa makes fairly sweeping statements about how easy it was to obtain food in Africa. Whereas people in more northerly latitudes had to rely more extensively on hunting, which presumably required more intelligence. Okay. He cites a statement by Lynn that hunting in the grasslands of Eurasia is more difficult than hunting in the woodlands of Africa, because the former does not provide cover for the hunters. This claim seems rather bizarre in light of the fact that modern humans are thought to have evolved on the African savanna, consisting of open grasslands. Okay, I'm sorry to laugh. African hunters would therefore have needed to solve the problem of hunting without tree cover long before modern humans left Africa. Kanazawa goes on to elaborate why Eurasian hunters were supposedly more sophisticated than their African counterparts. Okay, so they got a quote from this guy. Effective hunting thus presents a whole host of new adaptive problems for our ancestors in Eurasia to solve, including the condition of different hunters. Including the coordination of different hunters for a single goal and the manufacture and use of hunting weapons. These problems were largely unencountered by their counterparts left behind in sub-Saharan Africa. These novel adaptive problems exerted strong selection pressures for higher intelligence. They say, really? That's what I say. All right. Does Kanazawa suppose that ancient African peoples did not know how to coordinate hunting parties or manufacture and use hunting weapons? Recent evidence indicates that humans have been hunting for at least 2 million years. Modern pygmies and bushmen are known to hunt elephants and giraffes. That's a big job. Would not hunting these large animals pose adaptive problems involving coordination of hunting parties? Cooperative hunting among the Kong San people of the Kalahari Desert in Africa is well documented by anthropologists. Furthermore, some non-human carnivores, such as lions and wolves, hunt in coordinated packs with admirable efficiency. although these animals are relatively intelligent, I do not think anyone would seriously suppose that they require the intellectual capacities of humans to perform these feats. Kanazawa argues that producing fire in cold climates is more difficult because there are fewer natural brush fires where fire can be obtained without making it. Also, in cold climates, producing warm clothing and adequate shelter is more difficult. But what evidence is there that early humans needed a high level of intelligence to do these things? Of course. Neanderthals lived in ice age conditions for 100,000 years and therefore faced these exact problems. Furthermore, Neanderthals were known to hunt European megafauna. I don't know what it is. Somehow they learned how to coordinate hunting parties to kill very large, very dangerous animals. Does this mean they were... Okay, it'll come to that as well.
That's it. That's animals. Fauna is the animals. Flora is the plants.
Got you. Oh, big animals. I got you. Okay, thank you, sir.
Game.
I got you. Okay, I'm catching up. Does this mean they were more intelligent than the first modern humans living in Africa? Although there is debate about just how intelligent Neanderthals were, all populations of modern humans, even the most primitive hunter-gatherers, appear to have developed a more sophisticated culture than that demonstrated by Neanderthals. Gotcha. Neanderthals seem to have lacked the capacity for innovation and creative thinking possessed by modern humans. Neanderthals do not seem to have developed any art form. Yet all races of modern humans, even the ones Len considers the least intelligent, have developed art. Len, in 2006, analyzes that anatomically modern humans first appeared in Africa. Yet he does not explain why it is that the modern human race that evolved in tropical Africa developed greater intelligence and cognitive sophistication compared to their Neanderthal relatives who had been surviving in harsh ice age conditions for so many millennia. Lynn 2006 presents data on IQ, brain size, and winter temperatures for a wide range of human racial groups to support his theory that colder winters are associated with higher IQ and larger brains. He has argued that, generally speaking, average brain size is correlated with average IQ across human populations. However, he does note anomalies in the data. The peoples of the Arctic endure the harshest winter conditions of all. Lynn's hypothesis would seem to predict that they would have the highest intelligence and the largest brain size of any race. Lynn's review found that on average, they did have larger brains than any other race. However, the median IQ of Arctic peoples, according to Lynn's data, is 91. This is within the normal range, but clearly not superior. Arctic people have been found to have unusually strong visual memory that exceeds that of Europeans. Europeans who have traveled with the Inuit have remarked upon their extraordinary ability to traverse apparently featureless terrain and closely observe the smallest landmarks and memorize their spatial locations. Lynn argued that this enhanced visual memory is a result of natural selection in their Arctic environment. I wouldn't disagree with that. Strong visual memory has also been noted among desert-dwelling Australian Aboriginals, where it may have been an adaptation to life in a desert environment. Kearns, 1981. Then they have something to look at. All right, Lynn, 2006, page 144, argued that high intelligence can only evolve in large populations because mutations, being chance events, are more likely to occur in large populations. Arctic people have smaller populations than Asians or Europeans, and therefore mutations beneficial to intelligence did not occur. He argues that in Arctic peoples, some of their larger brain size may be devoted specifically to visual memory. Strangely enough, he claims that Australian Aboriginals have smaller brain sizes compared to most other races. Yet, like Arctic peoples, some Aboriginal tribes have apparently developed enhanced visual memory. To be fair, at least one study reported that Australian Aboriginals had a larger right visual cortex than Europeans, a part of the brain associated with spatial ability. He does not explain why natural selection among Arctic peoples would result in larger brain sizes or enhanced visual memory, yet the same evolutionary pressures associated with a cold environment would not also produce higher intelligence. Arctic peoples have clear physical adaptations to the cold, such as short, stocky bodies, well suited to conserving heat. Additionally, some scientists have argued that a large brain is an adaptation to the cold that also helps to conserve heat. Neanderthals are striking for having had larger average brain sizes than modern humans, which has been argued to be an adaptation to the cold climate. Yet, they appear to have been less cognitively sophisticated than modern humans. His argument about beneficial mutations occurring only in large populations seems like nothing more than special pleading. Furthermore, he acknowledges that some races, such as Pacific Islanders, have smaller brains than Australian Aboriginals. Yet the former have higher average IQs than the latter. When atomically modern humans first appeared in tropical Africa, more primitive hominids, such as Homo erectus, have been living throughout Eurasia for over 1 million years. If cold winters were a stimulus to the development of greater intelligence, it is not clear why modern humans developed such high intelligence in a tropical climate. Furthermore, there are no compelling reasons to suppose the survival in cold climates actually requires higher intelligence than survival in the tropics. It could be argued that survival in the tropics poses special challenges that would require intelligence, such as coping with tropical diseases and parasites. Okay. All right, they got two sources. One source there from 2005. The Pung San people of the Kalahari Desert traditionally lived for thousands of years in one of the harshest environments on Earth. Wow. Where even finding water can be a struggle. Yet, Lynn does not credit them with much intelligence. That must be that table. See table 16.2 of his book. Sternberg et al. 2005 point out that it is easy to simply make up speculative just so stories to support the notion that survival in any particular environment pose special challenges that require greater intelligence. One could just as easily argue that survival on a tropical island in the Pacific requires high intelligence because of the special skills required to navigate on the open ocean. All sorts of human environment seems to present challenges that might require intelligence to negotiate successfully. The reasons why there are persisting interethnic differences in mean IQ scores remain unclear. Nesser et al. 1996. Environmental differences between ethnic groups such as nutrition, education, and economic development need to be taken into account. Richard Lynn believes that these IQ differences are due to evolved genetic differences between distinct racial groups, but this view is not widely accepted in academia. Contrary to Lynn's claims, his theory of cold winters as an explanation of this phenomenon does not seem at all plausible and is based on little more than speculation. These names are used by Lynn and are used here for convenience and are not intended to be pejorative. Some anthropologists might debate this. Nevertheless, evidence for Neanderthal art is sparse indeed. Yet there is clear evidence of modern humans producing art in all areas of the world. And you got some related readings. Blah, blah, blah. All right, there you go.
Thank you. I wanted to respond by saying that Satoshi Kawazana is still teaching. He's let me go back. I wanted to make some points. He is actually teaching, I think, at London School of Economics. He is a professor there. You know, yeah, he got into a little bit of trouble, but he didn't get fired. You feel me? Just as pseudo as he want to be, but he's still teaching, and I'm sure he's implementing some of those pseudo idealisms, even teaching economics. Who knows, right? But Dr. Kressling was quickly fired, and if you've read her work and you understand the cold theory, and you juxtapose the two, you can clearly see how she was most definitely in response to some of the BS. Richard Lynn is still alive. I didn't get a chance to see where if. Oh no, he's dead now. But I'm just saying.
You saying against not Lynn, but what's his name?
Satoshi.
Katashi. Yeah, where's that name?
Let me get back. I got you. It's SATOSHI KANAZAWA. An American
that's not
born.
Kwazana.
Huh?
All right, hold on.
Kanazawa, yeah. American born British evolutionary psychologist. He's American born. And he teaches, he's a reader, which means he's a professor at the London School of Economics today, right now.
What's going on?
So, yeah.
So I did drop in the chat more information on Richard Lynn. I went to the YouTube and dropped that in there for those who are watching on YouTube. And the ultimate point is that these theories are out there. There's people that still promote a lot of this. Richard Lynn is all throughout the bell curve and the book Human Diversity. See, so people are quoting these individuals saying, yeah, I don't know. I think sometimes we hold a much more harsher judgment for our own people than we do other people. But there's some wild theories that came out throughout since modern science has begun. And a lot of them, we don't just call pseudo, we just say they wrong or outdated or they misrepresented the data or the data don't show that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that was my point.
Yeah, so, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing is no longer with us. Dr. Ben is no longer with us. John Howard Clark is no longer with us. It would be more fruitful to focus on people who still, what's the word I'm looking for? Who still has a hand in developing minds. That would be more fruitful to focus on those people. Go ahead, Cedric.
No, I was just trying to say active, and it's also a point I've been making for quite some time. Why do we continue to bring up our elders at this point? Their information is going to be outdated, so we're doing them a disservice when we engage in calling them pseudo and scrutinizing their material out of context. We're anachronistically busy when we do that. We have to take into consideration the time and space that they were operating in, the science that was available, the data that was available, and how that data was being processed in the field. Right. And I think that's a point we're trying to make here tonight. So please, we need to stop doing this.
Well, I think people gravitate to them because that's the videos. If you want to pull up a video of somebody talking about something, it's a plethora of videos of these individuals' names we just called that you can pull up and listen to. For somebody who's doing that work today, most people won't know their names and probably can't find their videos. so you stuck listening to folks from the past.
Good point, Joel. That's a great point.
Yeah.
But again, we can embrace it for its historical value and what they represented for their time. They were cutting edge.
Yeah.
But we can look at them with our anachronistic view of the modern information we have when we have DNA and genetics and all of that to make our arguments. We cannot hold them to the same standard. That's doing them a disservice. And like Chill was saying, when it comes to people like Dr. Lin and the bell curve, we don't call these people pseudo. We say they misrepresent the information, it's outdated, it's wrong, but we don't jump to pseudo. So we seem to, again, be gravitating towards the discrediting of our own with an extra flair, which is not necessary.
Great point. Great point. So it's like that saying, always be your own people. Yeah, this is what we talking about. Clear as day. So it's not giving to, we're just going to ignore the things. No, but there's context and nuances to everything. And if you choose to not discuss that when you're discussing these individuals, then you're being extremely disingenuous and you're playing in people's faces. And it's not historically accurate. You're not being accurate. Huh? Yeah. So should we call you pseudo now? We should call you pseudo because you're not even being fair about the information that you're distributing.
Exactly. I call it being lazy. Real lazy.
It's on purpose, though. It's not lazy. It's done on purpose. It's done on purpose. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm just saying.
I was going to say that though.
Okay.
I was going to say they do it on purpose because it helps them form a certain narrative. And, they want to try to get people to follow behind them. They don't want to put out there that it's almost like a preacher, right? Bible preacher's not going to tell you all the ins and outs of the Bible. Because if he does, then you're going to be sitting there in the pew questioning, well, hold up. If you're saying it's like that, then why you just teach me that? See what I'm saying? There's doubt. So people want to run in one direction so they can't tell you the ins and outs. They can't be honest. Because if they're honest, then they lose their crowd. So there you go.
So wouldn't that be like, you remember the conversation around Pan-Africanness? I was like, man, the motherfuckers is pseudo, right? And a lot of people that practice Pan-Africanness do bring a lot of misinformation. It was against the vaccine. And then, I remember the group pulled me up and say, well, hold on. Did you take a look at this? You sent me some documentations, which clearly show that some of the statements with the early Pan-Africans was to deal with science and align themselves with science, right? And so then I started to realize that it was different segments that wasn't doing that. They went off into their own. You'd be surprised. Like Marcus Garvey, he went off on his own tangent. He wasn't actually adhering to a lot. He might have ended up being a popular person, right? But he actually wasn't following those tenets. And those tenets actually have you
you can't get away from science, yo. And I'm saying that was a good lesson for me to learn that because you can't put everybody in the same category, right? Regardless of that. So it's a lot of laziness going around, and that's definitely lazy on my part. Just because the Pan-African people I came involved with or around was on some anti-vaccine stance, right? That did not mean that one, it was based off that, and two, everybody had that. So it's a stark difference. I know we were supposed to do like a show on that from what Marcus Garvey was putting down, right? Which everybody, claim they love, and then what, just the Pan-African movement was supposed to be. So I think that's a good lesson for everybody to learn, yo. But that document that you just read was excellent, and it shows. And you talking about what she up against? That's funny,
right? What she was up against, and yeah. And while we're on Pan African,
which I was talking about, excuse me, y'all talking about Zinga?
We'll get back to it. But
no, we ain't getting on Zinga yet. My favorite here. That's my favorite.
But while we're on Pan Africanism, my favorite example is always going to be in the Journal of Nature when they spoke about AIMS. AIMS is clearly stated as a Pan-African endeavor. AIMS clearly focus on African women in different countries in West Africa being taught and learn in mathematics so they can take on high level education to have careers that are in science and engineering. So they can bring back those skills to their countries, the community in those countries, and help to build up these countries. That is AIMS, okay? That is in the Journal of Nature. That is labeled as a Pan-African endeavor. So it's always, if you're going to speak on something, just don't be one-sided, because where there's one extreme, it's probably a whole line going to the other extreme of people practicing the same ideology. We also can't forget people like, I just found out his name, Du Bois, W.B. Du Bois, and Blyden. Like these were some very strong, you know, people, and these people were in academia. So yeah, I don't know, it just makes me angry because I fight hard for the ancestors, and it's not saying you fight for them so we can continue to be miseducated. Clearly, I am not miseducated, but clearly I understand. I have enough understanding of history to really know the nuances on certain things. Clearly. So it's not giving excuses, but if you're going to tell the story, let's please tell the whole story. That's all.
So Dr. Welsing actually debated Buckley. I think his name is Shockley or Buckley. Let me think. Hold on. Shockley. William Shockley, who is a Nobel Prize winner for a semiconductor, right? So he's definitely prominent in the field of mechanics and engineering.
He was a physicist.
But yeah, he was a physicist, yeah. And he has a semiconductor facility he started. I mean, it's big. It was very, very significant what he came out with in regards to the fields of science and physics. But he also had some wild ideas. So at one time he was promoting anyone with an IQ over under 100 should get sterilized, and they should give him $1,000 for. He also had racial intelligence differences based on race, and she debated him at his time. So this is the thing that you up against, right? And we would assume that these things are done with. Well, we just read an article from 2012 that talks about Richard Lynn's thing, and Shockley was in the 80s when he debated, or late 70s, something like that. And both of them are again used in modern books today that are also trying to promote the same thing. So I would take caution in how I look at her. In that.
No, Christian, I sent you a link. You'll share your screen with that, please?
All right. You sent it to me or you dropped it in the chat? Let me come out of here.
I dropped it in the chat. It's a wiki on William Shockley.
William Shockley?
Yes, sir.
You want the Wikipedia one? That's what you want?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Maybe we just gotta walk it down a little slow. Yeah, and shoot, maybe we should play this one day. But Black or White Superiority, Dr. Francis Cress Welsling versus Dr. William Shockley. It's literally on YouTube, but y'all keep playing in our face about the other stuff. Sorry.
All right, let me just start with that first paragraph. It says William Bradford Shockley, February 13, 1910, August 12, 1989, was an American solid-state physicist, electrical engineer, and inventor. He was the manager of a research group at Bell Labs that included John Barden and Walter Brattain. The three scientists were jointly awarded the 1956 Nobel Peace Prize in Physics for their researches on semiconductors and their discovery of the transistor effect.
Can you go jump down to the actual, it should be a section that talks about the race controversy or something.
Racist eugenicist views or?
Yeah, that one right there. Yeah, that one right there, that one.
All right. After Shockley left his role as director of Shockley Semiconductor, he joined Stanford University, where he was appointed the Alexander M. Ponitoff Professor of Engineering and Applied Science in 1963, a position which he held until he retired as a professor emeritus in 1975. In the last 2 decades of his life, Shockley, who had no degree in genetics, became widely known for his extreme views on race and human intelligence and his advocacy of eugenics. As described by his Los Angeles Times obituary, he went from being a physicist with impeccable academic credentials to amateur geneticist, becoming a lightning rod whose views sparked campus demonstrations and a cascade of calumny. He thought his work was important to the future of humanity, and he also described it as the most important aspect of his career. He argued that a higher rate of reproduction among purportedly less intelligent people was having a dysgenic effect, and argued that a drop in average intelligence would lead to a decline in civilization. He also claimed that Black people were genetically and intellectually inferior to white people. Shockley's biographer, why did I have my name? Joel Sirkin notes that for much of Shockley's life in the racially segregated United States at the time, he had almost no contact with Black people. And a debate with psychiatrist Francis Cress Welsing and on firing line with William F. Buckley Jr., Shockley argued, my research leads me inescapably to opinion that the major cause of the American Negroes' intellectual and social deficits is inherently and racially genetic in origin, and thus not remittable to a major degree by practical improvements in the environment. Shapley was one of the race theorists who received money from the Pioneer Fund, and at least one donation to him came from its founder, the eugenist Wycliffe Draper. Shapley proposed that individuals with IQ to undergo voluntary sterilization, $1,000 for each of their IQ points under 100. This proposal led to the University of Leeds to withdraw its offer of an honorary degree to him. Anthropologist and far-right activist Roger Pearson defended Stokely in a self-published book co-authored with Stokely. In 1973, University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee professor Edgar G. Epps argued that William Shockley's position lends itself to racist interpretations. The Southern Poverty Law Center described Shockley as a white nationalist who failed to produce evidence for his eugenic theories, amidst near universal acknowledgement that his work was that of a racist crank. The science writer Angela Sani describes Stokely as, is his name Stokely or Stockley? Am I saying that right?
Shockley.
Hold on.
It's Shockley.
I keep saying my man's name. It was throwing me off. Okay,
keep
sorry.
going. You got
Shockley.
it. You're getting the point across. You're getting the point across.
Okay. All right. It was messing with me on my brain. All right. As having been a notorious racist, Shockley insisted that he was not a racist. He wrote that his findings do not support white supremacy, instead claiming that East Asians and Jews fare better than whites intellectually. In 1973, Edgar Epps wrote that I am pleased that Professor Shockley is not an Aryan supremacist, but I would remind him that a theory espousing hereditary superiority of Orientals or Jews is just as racist in nature as the Aryan supremacy doctrine. Got that right. Shockley's advocacy of eugenics triggered protests in one incident. The Science Society Sigma Psi, fearing violence, canceled a 1968 convocation in Brooklyn where Shockley was scheduled to speak. In Atlanta in 1981, Shockley filed a libel suit against the Atlanta Constitution after a science writer, Roger Witherspoon, compared Shockley's advocacy of a voluntary sterilization program to Nazi human experimentation. The suit took 3 years to go to trial. Shockley won the suit, but he only received $1 in damages. I'm sorry, man. And he did not receive any punitive damages. Shockley's biographer, Joe Shirkin, a science writer on the staff of Stanford University during those years, sums this statement up by saying that it was defamatory, but Shockley's reputation was not worth much by the time the trial reached a verdict. Shockley taped his telephone conversations with reporters, transcribed them, and sent the transcripts to the reporters by registered mail. At one point, he toyed with the idea of making the reporters take a simple quiz on his work before he would discuss the subject matter of it with them. His habit of saving all of his papers, including laundry lists, provides abundant documentation of his life for researchers. Shockley was a candidate for the Republican nomination in the 1982 United States Senate election in California. He ran on a single issue platform of opposing the dysgenic threat that he alleged African Americans and other groups pose. He came in 8th place in the primary, receiving 8,308 votes and a 0.37% of the vote. According to Shirkin, by this time, his racism destroyed his credibility. Almost no one wanted to be associated with him, and many of those who were willing did him more harm than good. All right, keep going. Foundation for Research and
No,
that's good. That's good.
And no, nigga, I was over this motherfucker night. I was asleep fucking around with y'all.
You're not asleep.
Man, God.
You know what? I hate when y'all
think
do
Francis
that. Let me say
Glass Brown hit it on
something.
the head.
Let me
She
say
was absolutely
something.
right.
I hate.
Was on point.
I hate when y'all
That's
do
recap.
that. I hate when y'all do
That's
that. You
recap.
know why? None of y'all will make it through
That's
a
recap.
college class if you can't sit through a
Yeah.
lecture that's an hour.
Yeah.
So just have some discipline. For
You
real.
got it. I did.
I really wanted
Come
him
on,
to
right.
go further because then it, I think, gives to some of the organizations he may have been affiliated with. That next paragraph, but y'all can read it for yourself.
All right, go ahead. No, go ahead. Put that in
It's
there.
the Pioneer. It's a Pioneer Fund. That's the next one, Pioneer Fund. So you can see how many people today, at this very time, is still using those people money to promote racism. Yeah,
Facts.
today, not we ain't talking about the 90s. We talking about right now. The Pioneer Fund is still in action right at this moment. So I don't know what people talking about that back then. I don't understand what they mean by that. I'm confused.
Mm-hmm.
When I see them still promoting the same thing to this very day.
Mm. That's
We had a guy
interesting.
come in here trying to promote that. Y'all remember what was his dude's name? Wild dude.
They
Trying to promote that.
He's a more study.
Yeah, he came in with the Pioneer Fund work. Posting links from them. Hey, y'all tripping. Nah, I ain't going for that.
Yeah, Fetty lost his mind with that. And he's still
Yeah,
fighting.
we
man.
He's
up pretty
still
good, though.
fighting for his life with that one. But
I'm
I'm gonna say that the other day he did stand up against him about something. I forgot what it was, but I was like, okay,
No,
Fetty, okay.
He did a great assessment, yo. I gotta give him that, yo.
Yeah.
He really did. He could
Great
understand
assessment
why
on what?
motherfucker would do that.
Great assessment on what?
Yeah.
Great assessment on
what
what?
you talking about? What you talking about? What you on my head for?
What was it?
Shit,
Okay.
I'm on your
Oh,
side.
you know what I'm
He
talking
made a good
about?
assessment on. They was talking about this conversation right here.
Oh yeah,
prior
yeah.
to this one.
Fact.
Right?
Yeah. My bad.
Yeah. You say, yeah, I could see that. Yep. Why they would do that? Yep. Yeah, he just be off on the whistle comment work. That shit was funny. You just say, God damn, I could stay awoke. Yeah, I'd have been nodding out in class, yo. Yeah, you'd have got me on that. Huh? Professor would have got me, man. Go in the back of class, man. Yeah. All right.
So I might stop this here and just go on to YouTube and maybe send the link so we can get some feedback. Because I see some comments in the chat about what we're doing is wild. And I just really want to understand, why is it so wild?
Yeah.
We're literally juxtapose both arguments. That's what we did. We showed you the cause and we showed you the effect. There's nothing wild about that. It's not excuse. Go ahead.
No, he's wild. That's gamble, right?
Yeah.
But this is wild, but I don't have the same reverence for these people because when I was introduced to them, they were fringe and pseudo. What I'm saying, so if you tell the whole story, that means you got reverence. How about can we just tell the whole story? Why ain't that just as important? To give the whole thing, I think, so you can understand the interplay.
But did everything we just say go over his head?
Yes, because y'all still fighting back on Cress Wellsling, but y'all ain't got no energy for Stokely, the Shitashi guy, Richard Lynn. Like, come on, the Pioneer Fund. Where is the energy for that? Go ahead, Cedric.
I'm amazed. After everything we just read, I doubled down and said, you know what, Frances Cress Welsing was right. Just to emphasize the point of the environment that she was operating in. We made the point, Till made the point, I doubled down on it. Why don't we deal with these people in the same light? Because everything we just read was pseudo as hell.
Yeah, super crazy.
Pseudo got a Nobel Peace Prize. The other Pseudo gets to work for a prestigious college in London. Dr. Frances Cress Welsing got fired by Howard because of the backlash of her theory. Y'all getting on my nerves, for real. Y'all even make no sense.
Say it again. I think they didn't get it. I got it the first time.
He got the Nobel Peace. Did he get it?
The anachronism that we have of this subject matter was just brought into context. They're painting the environment that they're operating in. What you just heard was some pseudo wild stuff from Lynn and from Stokely. Yet you'd say that this is pseudo and we're doing what?
He's still asking why we won't just call her Pseudo.
Because she wasn't pseudo. She was an academic, and probably she was wrong, but she was operating in a particular milieu that was the type of energy.
Right, and we read the definition. Facts, and we read the definition between pseudo and wrong. And I don't think a lot of us think that she was deliberately giving misinformation. Not when you have a Nobel Peace Prize winner that is standing balls to the walls on his racist theories. Do you think that he's just deliberately doing that? Or do you think he believes in what he's doing? I moved to say he believed in what he was doing. And nobody's crying about that. He's a Nobel Peace Prize winner. Stop it.
Completely pseudo because he's not an expert in the field. He's not a psychologist. He's not a psychiatrist. He's not a geneticist. He's an electrical or mechanical engineer and a physicist. So the position that he is taking, he is not schooled to take it either. That would be classified as pseudo. That would be pseudo.
So wouldn't she have to be trying to act like
you muffle.
She just be wrong, right? Is that how we do that?
Say that again. You're a muffle.
Oh, okay, damn. Hold on. Shit, he said I'm muffled. I'm muffled mad.
No, you're good now. You're good now, but start your statement over.
I was muffled mad. So what I was saying was, so based off the definition of what we say pseudoscience was, is the indication that she was promoting this as being a scientific thing? Or was she just wrong?
She was just wrong.
Yeah. I don't think she tried to promote that. Now when people use it,
what he was doing is pseudo. First of all, he's not in any of the fields to be able to make these positions. He doesn't have any credible work, yet he is making this and standing on his credibility as a scientist. This is his greatest work. This isn't any work.
Yeah, and if I can remember, go ahead. I thought you was finished. Sorry.
Yeah, it was finished.
And if I can remember, in Chilimbwe or anybody who's read Jesus, the ISIS paper, wasn't Dr. Frances Cress Welsing speaking to the psychology of why certain humans did things? I don't remember her speaking to the genetics. I remember her speaking on the psychology. No, maybe she did speak on some of the evolution.
Genetic annihilation and all that shit.
Maybe she did speak on some of the evolutionary stuff. Okay.
She mainly focused on the psychiatry of it, though.
I thought so too. It was a lot of psychiatry, and in psychiatry, you will get again. For people who don't get it, if you look up psychiatry, there is an interdisciplinary route to that. There is a such thing as evolutionary psychiatry. You feel me?
Yeah.
So for people that say, "Oh, that was so far out," no, not really, because psychiatry will deal interdisciplinary with different subjects, including biology, which leads into evolution. So get it together.
You definitely got the mad white boy. You got the mad white boy. But go ahead.
let me say this, right? So that first article we read about the winter, like the guy trying to make the case for the cold environment. Like as we was reading that, like the author was easily showing like these same, even though it's not cold, it's a hot environment, but you still have these same tough terrain and challenges in order to survive. You can't find water. Okay, like it's and so they have to be just as creative as a person over there in the cold climate. So I mean, it makes sense to me that Frances Cress Welsing would jump on the melanin because she can make the same case that the dude making in the cold climate. She can make them same cases for people with melanin. So I mean, that don't sound like a stretch to me. I mean, it did it right there in the paper. It just didn't. They just didn't attach it to melanin. They attached it to environment.
Yeah.
But my point. Huh?
No, I said right. It was like a counter to it. Go ahead.
Yeah. That ain't that hard to do. So I mean, so was she wrong for doing that?
Nope.
And that'll make
Hell no. No, she wasn't wrong for doing that.
I completely agree with her. That pushback was warranted because it was, if we're going to classify her as pseudo, then Stokely was being just as pseudo. She was operating, pushing back in the environment that she was operating in. Mm-hmm. So they're either both wrong or they're both pseudo. But we're not going to credit Frances Cress Welsing when she is an actual academic in that environment to make such psychological hypotheses, where Mr. Electrical Engineer absolutely isn't. So who's pseudo?
Yeah, he had no training in that. He just jumped over there and went to work.
He did have training. He had training not being around black people, and he had training in racism. He had training.
The very fact, there's a point to be made that the very fact she was trained, she should have knew better.
How'd you say that? I don't understand. I don't understand.
I didn't make that statement. I said there's a point was made that the fact that she was trained, they expected more out of her.
I mean, he was a Nobel Peace Prize winner, known around the world.
Definitely.
So I would think he would have known better, right? I would think
better with the information.
I would think that the guy who's working at London College would know better, right? I would think Richard Lynn would have knew better, right? These people are working at what is it, London College. I think that's where Dr. Farrar went, and Harvard and places like that. Don't you think they would have known better? Come on.
Right. Teaching that stuff in academia today, that is wild. Honestly.
And don't forget that books like that, like the ISIS papers and stuff, is the weakest form when it comes into scientific, information. It's the lowest form.
Yeah,
it doesn't go through the peer review process or nothing like that. So, she's put out her opinions and her hypotheses in there and responded to some of the claims that other people in the scientific community was making at that time. So I wouldn't go past that. Now, if someone came to me today and trying to tell me the ISIS papers is what I should be reading, then I got to get mad.
Facts. That's a totally different conversation, though. And I don't think in any way were we sitting here saying, yes, get all your children the ISIS papers. That's scientific. That never came out of anybody's mouth, ever.
I know, yo.
Come on.
A good one. I got to get mad at you, and I got to call you a pseudo. I got to do it. I absolutely got to do it.
Is it a good read? It's definitely a good read. No. So was the Iceman. So is the Iceman Inheritance, boy.
You ain't lying, yo. Y'all want to play? We're going to double.
That was a good read, though. Look, that book had me enthralled. I was enthralled. I was like, oh, snap.
Yeah, that's a good read, yo. They had a hell of a sense of humor.
It was a good.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you really think about it, like, oh man, they got them with the double back on. They double back on. Okay, that's what y'all doing. That's how y'all doing it? Okay, we're gonna do it like
exactly.
this. Okay, y'all cheating?
That's what
y'all
it
gonna
was.
Cheat? That's how y'all gonna cheat? Bet. Watch how we do this. Yeah, no.
Did her book form? Did the ISIS paper form the foundation for that Martin Lawrence joke with the pool table?
No, that's Francis Cress Wells with the pool. You talking about the balls and stuff?
Yeah, because
that's Francis hit him with that. Francis went wild
where I know that from? I know that from Martin Lawrence. I think he did that in Bad Boys. He did that. the pool table represents.
You know what? It's almost like satire, yo. It's like they hit their ass with satire. Hit, yo. Okay, that's what you say. Oh yeah, I'm skinning system. Watch this. Watch them looking crazy in the Iceman hurt. Yo, they hit back. When the Empire Strikes Back, nigga don't like it. When the Empire Strikes Back, now you got to be scientific. But the niggas that dropped the bombs in the first place had no science in it. Yeah, and enslaved 12 million people. Nigga, fuck out of here. That's why I'm never that.
How about that? That?
Yeah, I mean, you can't get me with that shit. That's ridiculous, yo. Well, get the fuck out of here, yo. Them niggas hit him with the ha. That's funny, yo. I'm fucking with him. That made me realize I'm definitely fucking with Francis and them now. Yeah. Yeah, you know how you get a pseudo nigga, double pseudo on their ass. Double chop, nigga. Now take this, nigga. Nigga, you in the cold, you ain't got no motherfucker. That shit was a good one.
If they don't come out call Lynn pseudo, I'm doubling down on Crest.
Yeah, we're gonna double triple. And then look, and Clark signed off on Iceman Heritage, yo.
Yeah, he did. He just did it on. He just did it because he could.
Yeah. Let me show y'all niggas. And you know these niggas as well. I know Clark and the niggas as well, right? So he was like, "Yeah, nigga, watch this."
Exactly.
Some get back, nigga. This how you get them back.
And guess
that shit's funny, yo.
But the funny thing about it,
get back.
Iceman Inheritance was written by a white man. That wasn't no black man.
You put the hit. I got you do the hit on
not saying that gives it relevance, but just saying that's interesting, right?
It's funny as shit. Now I see them niggas had a sense of humor, yo. Yeah, that's how you get a motherfucker back. You play crazy with him. Oh, y'all gonna be crazy back? I see. That's a good one. Yeah, man. Sometimes you can't be scientific. You're trying to get your neck back.
Look,
he was debating on equal terms with an inferior woman, a black woman. Don't you see the irony in it?
Yeah, facts.
And the irony in it is beautiful. He had to stand toe to toe with his intellectual equal or superior, which was a inferior
black woman
by both measures.
Yeah,
black woman.
Yeah, facts.
Y'all don't see the beauty in that.
Yeah, I'm fucking with Clark on that one, yo. They gonna make me go buy a copy of Iceman. I gotta go get
that's poetic justice right there.
The book is good,
I might do a
bro.
whole show around Iceman Inheritance.
Iceman Inheritance was really good.
But then they start talking that crazy shit.
I know it's not factual, but it was a very good book. I was like,
they framed them up real good.
Yeah. You know, they did.
He's the ice. He can't think right. Hey, no,
that's
no
hilarious.
That shit funny, yo. I'm fucking with it.
That's hilarious.
Drop the two-cradle theory on there, and the two-cradle theory that makes them savages. Okay, what about that?
Yeah, boy, they was all winking.
Oh,
you're
stupid,
Cedric. They was winking at us. Said, yo, the scientific youth is gonna come amongst us, gonna know we was winking at them.
Y'all are funny.
You can go with it one way. We can go with it the other way. Right
we
now,
go one step more.
Right. So now DR paper makes much more sense.
Yeah,
since the cold made you more intelligent, it also made you more violent.
Yeah. I think we over critiquing. Their motherfucker was not trying to be scientific. They was trying to get them niggas.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because do you know if she actually tried to submit her work for peer review, Chilimwe? Because I don't know. Because usually they,
Man, please.
I mean, who is her book published by? Because that would say it all. Do we know if she even tried? You get what I'm saying?
Man, she run.
Because I
They
think
put her out of Howard.
they put her out. But I think they put her out because of the backlash she got for the book.
Yeah, that's what she wanted to get backlash. That's the point. She wanted to bring light to the whole shit, yo. Yeah,
she did.
Want y'all to see how crazy these motherfuckers is and watch how crazy I get. Ha ha, nigga. All right. That shit was funny, yo. That's a good one right there, yo. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Now I see why.
Yeah, I think it was important just to shed a little light because I'm oftentimes hearing a lopsided story, right? And so the point of this, and it actually worked out better than I thought, was to really give you all some more context to the situation. You know, the Dr. Benz and John Henrik Clark's and Dr. Welsing, even Dr. Akbar, they just weren't doing things just to do it, right? A lot of this was out of response to a lot of the racial, racist ranting already going on in academia. Okay, so I think
definitely was happening.
And I just want to. I just want to end with that. We could stay live in here. My puppy crazy. Stop. But I'm gonna.
You know, Dr. Vince used to do that shit like that. Before you pick it off, he used to say shit like that. Well, since this what this is, then why not hit this? He used to hit him with that type of shit.
Right.
Yeah. Funny as shit, yo.
Ouch. Yeah.
Yeah, funny.
So it's
find that in his belief, say that.
It's just respect doesn't mean that you agree. Respect means that you understand. And I respect and I understand what Black elders, academic elders, intellectuals were up against. That's the difference. So doesn't mean that we're giving them passes, but nigga, I understand. I get it, and I'm not even mad at it. You know, but you know, we're a new generation, and we move on, and we just do it better. That's the point, though. We do it better. Go ahead.
To me, it says something about the pseudo intellectual trying to have this conversation with an anachronistic view and completely out of context. Get down. Right? But if you're going to have the conversation, have it holistically and be honest about it, right? Because we don't promote any outdated information. We understand. We take things in context. When for example, refers to Dr. Ben, it is always with regards to him exposing him to Darwin, right? Which is pure science. So the attempt to discredit our elders by a select few in our community is pseudo intellectualism. I feel trying to pretend that you're above the rest, and you're actually doing a disservice to yourself and your community by trying to undermine individuals like that without taking the full context into consideration.
Any other last words from Rob, Chilimwe, Joel, Miss Tiffany?
Yeah, I would just like us to remember that science is slow to change, that it takes rigorous work to get science to move forward or change from a paradigm that they're in at the time, and that we have access to way more information way faster than people in the 1990s or the 1970s. And so to us, it seems very simple to know that some of the statements being made was false. But that requires us to have internet access to libraries and journals that wasn't readily available then. So we make the assumption that she should have known this, she should have known that, but it really doesn't work that way. At least not during that period of time, not during the 70s, 80s, and 90s. maybe after the mid 2000s, 2005, 2010, you start to see that. Lee, I forgot his name, Lee something. He got that cave, reindeer cave, or one of those caves down in Africa.
Put a little bit of, you can just put it on top.
You should look into that controversy going on with how he presents his information to the public versus the scientific community.
Like a spoonful of
some of the dynamics that go into some of these things. So that's all I wanted to say. I think that she was dead wrong in some of her assessments, but I can fully understand why she's making those assessments, considering what was being said on the opposite end. And then, of course, there's always the middle ground, folks that don't want to get involved in it or just ignore some of the ranting and ravings that's going on through these fringe communities. That's it.
Go ahead, Carnivorous.
Somebody talk?
Oh, go ahead, Miss Tiffany. I'm so sorry. You got it.
Okay. I was just going to say, and thanks to our illustrious president and whoever voted, now science will be set back because they're refusing to fund scientific research. So the things that made us be advanced in science and knowing things and getting the information, thank you to all those who voted for Mr. Trump there, because that will directly affect the number of quote unquote pseudos that run wild. Thank you.
Definitely got a pseudoscientific president. Big up to all the people that voted for the pseudoscientific president. Big up to you.
Big up.
Your mindset precedes you.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. I'm gonna leave it at that.
And I will say this. I think next time
I need to think differently. You hit that one on the head.
Facts. And I also think next time I probably want to run through some of the dilemmas that Black psychiatrists and psychologists went through. Because maybe some of their theories don't hold up today, but back then they were really trying to find a way to include us in some of these psychiatric and psychological models where we were not included. So, and that became a problem because everything that a Black man or woman did that was sick was deemed something way worse than what they were really going through. I hope y'all understand that. We'll do a show on that since everybody got so much to say. And as a criminologist, that's also my wheelhouse because I had to understand the history.
Oh, that's your wheelhouse. I dare no.
Nigga. Go ahead, Carnivorous.
What's up? Listen.
We knew it was you, Muhammad.
Be more in the building.
So listen, check this out. I've been reading Naeem Akbar, right?
No, do it.
And no,
wait, which one? Which book?
I have
Breaking the
Know
Chains.
Thyself, right? And I have the Akbar Papers in African Psychology.
Oh,
the hard
you should have got Breaking the Chains of Psychological Slavery.
Yeah, I've been had that.
Well, that's the book he uses in his college courses. He taught at FSU.
That's awesome. So check it out. For me, I look at it as I don't put him in the same category as Frances Cress Welsing, right? Frances Cress Welsing to me she was trying to analyze what white people problem was, right? As far as racism, right? And the ISIS leaders. Now, that Naeem Akbar, whether his stuff was accepted or even introduced to the field, I feel like he was trying to fix something in African Americans, right? So I don't think he set out to get his work peer reviewed, right? It seemed like from listening to his lectures and reading some of his work, he was introducing something to Black people that we could use, for ourselves. It seemed like, but it ain't to say that he didn't do credible work because he was a professor. You dig what I'm saying? So what he gave in teaching psychology, right, in the classroom, and getting black psychologists their degrees to go on and, you know, help African Americans as far as their psychology. I feel like that's where the most of his work was done at. You get what I'm saying? But I think that his writings and his lectures was to give black people something to deal with inadequacies that he's seen in our psychology and confidence on a social level. You know what I mean? I don't think it was clinical. You dig what I'm saying? So I give him credit for that.
And just to let me interject. So he taught African American studies. I don't FSU. He was teaching African American studies. Just to let you know, okay?
At where?
FSU.
That was the only thing he was teaching?
From my remembrance and knowledge, yes. He might have been somewhere else teaching psychology elsewhere earlier on, but you know, he was getting up there in age. By the time I took him, he was like around 50, maybe. Okay.
Yeah, Luther Wayne. Dr. Luther Wayne. You feel me? Before he was Naeem Akbar. You do what I'm saying? So I think he's credible. I think he did good work. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that was.
You hold my fault. Go ahead.
No, I didn't really go at him because I felt I used to go see him. He used to come to Compton and Morgan State to do lectures.
Facts.
And my father used to take he used to take me to see him most of the times that he came in. It was always dope. You know what I mean? Like he would put on a hell of a show. You know what I mean? So
yeah. And he was NOI, so I bet that helped. He always wore his bow tie and suit to class. Just to let you know, his bow tie and suit and his glasses. He always
knocked him down.
Yeah, he was always fresh to death. Let me tell you, that man used to be fresh to death. Sheffrin, fresh to death from head to toe. Couldn't tell him nothing. And it'd be like,
so I tell you what though,
kente cloth,
you
bow ties. Shoot, I just wanted to give him his, props on his style. Go ahead.
So Chef, today you kind of read an excerpt from the book, yo, and it kind of gave me it was interesting, and I realized that he wasn't trying to be scientific. What he was doing, he was trying to connect, like the act. You said it. I forgot how you said it. He was trying to make something like what was we talking about? The space of there's a where you kind of
he was trying to counter the white self-identity with the African personality.
Correct.
You know what I mean? He felt as though that being snatched away from
Yoshi,
Africa,
get out the kitchen.
He didn't have a good sense.
Get out the kitchen. You better listen up, Mildred.
Like, was the boys talking
get out
about the Q cells, right? Having to look at yourself through the eyes of your oppressor. So he was kind of speaking to that almost. And, he went back to say, well, that European, the way that they see self was a form of, the transposed ego, right? And he was saying that the African sense of self was different. You dig what I'm saying? And he talked about how the African seen himself in 4 different levels, right? As far as the tribal level, who he was in the tribe, who he was, and it was just 4 different levels. And it went all the way down to the soul. And he said the only way that the African, like being snatched away from that and just given this one sense of self, don't explain how the African mind was working when they were snatched out of it. So it caused some type of friction within, the identity. But it's good.
Yeah, if we put it on the lenses of psychology today and science and all that, you probably could discredit a whole lot of that. I think it was just par for the course in what he was doing at the time.
I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah, I don't think
that's the same thing Chef said.
I think it sounds dope. You feel me?
All right, go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Many worlds create many minds, and that's from Lisa Barrett. That's the brain show. So in reference, culture creates many different minds. So there is no universal single human mind that you can model about. But culture does shape human minds, and you can have many minds at one time. So if you come from a heritage of rice farmers, your mind tends to be constructed more collective versus if you were a wheat farmer. You can look at it through even creations of religion and gods. If you're a cattle farmer, your gods tend to be very vengeful and very, what's the word they use? I don't know the word they use, but it's almost like demand accountability and justice compared to other types of river gods that you might find about from people who fish. I don't think you're going to find one universal African mind, but you definitely would have to take into consideration the culture a person comes from.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's it was definitely it's clear across the board. They was trying to show the cultural differences that nurture the human being itself, and I know they was using that as a platform to kind of make the point that people like what's the name? Remember Ann Nee, right? You look at her book, and she's an anthropologist, right? But she used kind of like storytelling form, talk about how the incompleteness of the European. So I don't think she was necessarily thinking. What do y'all think about that? Urugu, where she talk about they get a soul, where she tell a cosmic story on, and I'm thinking it is a traditional African story, just talking about how this particular human missed the right. So it's a story to explain to you how this particular human being wasn't complete or something. It was interesting though, yeah. But you're not supposed to throw it at the wall and say, yeah, that's not scientific. I think it's just it's a story. But to get you to a greater point or something like that. So it's all interesting, bro. Like, different fighting styles, what they was doing. But I came to the conclusion, John Henry Clark's chef was winking at us when he wrote that forward for the motherfucking Iceman Heritage.
He was winking hard.
He was winking
like I got y'all.
Right. No, I can see that, right? From reading. I think he gave a whole. I think he basically. If y'all ever got a chance to read it on one of y'all shows, if you read it all the way through, he was giving validity. He wasn't giving validity to the guy. He was actually giving a more historical framework to talk about, white racism, right? He didn't use the biology. He used the historical argument to So what is tangible, right? So and then he switched gears and said and talked about how your book actually missed the mark. You dig what I'm saying? But I kind of understand what you're saying. If you would have in a historical framework, you dig what I'm saying? And he did, because the forward is long as hell. And he went through several different time periods showing quickly how the European racism affected, the world. You know what I mean? So I think it was like a backhanded slap. But the way down to us, the way that you listen, I'm 45 years old.
Right.
When I got that book, I was around 18, 19 years old. Right? So I took more out of what Bradley said, right?
Right.
Than I did with John Henry. How do you filter all of that crazy shit that Bradley said out by reading the forward? Most people can't do that. Only reason I'm able to do that now is having these conversations with y'all and getting different perspectives. If you pick that book up, you're gonna miss John Henry Clark's point, even if you argue that you can make it. So he did us a disservice by even, co-signing that book with his penmanship on.
I think he was like, hey, nigga, yeah, but I think he was saying, hey, since they ridiculous, he gonna be ridiculous for you. Hey, and I'm gonna let the white boy do it for you, yo. Because he would have had to understand. Even in the forward, he talks about how some things in that. So it's just interesting, bro, how.
That is the anachronistic reference that I was making. You need to take in it in context. That book wasn't written to be understood 20 or 30 years later. It was a pushback in real time. So it is on us to take in it in its proper context and not have an anachronistic view of it. He wasn't doing us a disservice. He wasn't writing it particularly for us. He was pushing back in real time to what was happening in real time. So again, you can't say that he was doing us a disservice when we failed to engage with the literature as it is supposed to be done. You cannot take it out of its context and out of its time.
Yeah, well, it's the point made that it's a lot of shit to unpack, yo. In that, I think that's really, yeah. How does the 19-year-old understand that? When now we done read some things and we can kind of see it. We understand the forward. We get the context. We put it together. I mean, that's part of what we need to do, though. That's part of these healthy conversations. And the conversation can't just be one way, though. So I would never advocate for that. Like, you can't be all giggy. And you got to really discuss the work and an effect on it. Was it effective? What's the next steps going forward? Where people younger than us can see it. See, we've made a fair, honest assessment in this proper cultural context. And they're going to spit the shit out that's stupid because that's the young dude and the shit that they can stand on and ride, yo. They're going to ride, yo. Yeah, but you can't lie to them, yo, because they got the tools to know we lying, yo. Nah, the niggas is lying, yo. I just put it in ChatGPT. Nah, hold on, let me see. I mean, intelligent ones is really critiquing real hard, yo. And I'm saying each age level is critiquing the age level above them, yo. You can just see it, yo. It's interesting. Yeah, we're gonna do a show tomorrow on Ngozi and Gullah on primates and primate behaviors, yo. We're gonna answer that question and be, how do primates act? I mean, what the premortal actions that we do at times. What is all that? What is the involvement of how primates evolve? To what extent where do humans separate in that grand scheme of things? And how are we just like all the rest of the primates? It was a real interesting conversation.
When is that? We're
gonna do that tomorrow. I know you want to get in. I don't know what time good for you. I'm gonna make it so comfortable for you to jump in that.
That was nuts.
Yeah, you was tripping off that, right?
That was nuts. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, you tripping off.
That was crazy. Like they made the argument that Nzinga participating in the slave trade was a biological evolutionary reaction to I
know you messed it up. Let me help you out.
Yeah,
yo.
like it was just it was in her 8 genes to do it.
You can't help but keep Nzinga out your mouth. You cannot help it. Go ahead.
I know you can't.
Golly.
It was the monkey that made her do it.
Jesus.
She couldn't help it. DQ, you heard it. Y'all said
let DQ jump on that. DQ, that ain't what we kicked since you hate the Nzinga. I ain't even mad at you no more on that shit, because I know it get to you for real, yo. You take that shit to heart. So I ain't even gonna needle you like you would needle me on it, yo, because I can get you on the Nzinga.
Because I'm a Black American. I know I ain't gonna get you. I'm not rocking with that.
Ease off of it, yo. I'm gonna let you have it. But that ain't what we said. We said the tribalism, the nationhood. This is my tribe. This is my nation. I'm concerned with them and them only, right? We talk about the effects of other tribes and clans in close proximity, making different types of deals, right? It put them in. It put the niggas in
a rock and a hard place. Yeah, a rock and a
hard place.
For
yo.
real,
like, it was crazy how they did that. Yeah, it was interesting, yo. So you can't just blame. First of all, I think a good point would be, and we kind of talked about it. I'm not sure we did it justice when we talked about slavery period, the whole institution of slavery. And I made the point today that slavery was already in Africa before colonial powers came in there. So they already had their own thing going on, right? And I think you made the point a couple years ago, and I take note that all slavery is wild and bad, no matter what the characterization of it is. Okay, I checked the box off. I give you that, but that wasn't her main reason for having slavery.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
No.
I don't agree with that.
When we're studying history, we need to leave again.
Hold on. What is the whole? Wait.
All forms of slavery is bad because I think we already introduced that slavery in parts of Africa is more like domestic servitude, and actually they did not have a formalized penal system. So slavery will act as their penal system. It was a way on how they dealt with criminals, people who stole, people who owed money, things like that.
That's a good piece you need to be added in.
It was the technology of the day. You had that literally manpower. That was the technology of the day. So no culture was void of this practice. It wasn't unique to any particular people. It was just the state of the world at the time. All cultures exhibited in the Americas, everywhere.
Yeah, but I don't want people confusing because all slavery is not created equal. Chattel slavery is some of the worst slavery on earth. So was the Saharan slavery. We
depending on what part you're talking about. And that's a good, but that ain't the point I was trying to make. The point I was making was that wouldn't be her primary reason for fighting other Africans. Her primary reason for fighting the other Africans was they had a foreign power, right, in their midst that was playing each other against each other. First point, to get the slaves. They put the economy in dysfunction. So this is the context that's left out. There wasn't nothing else to do but sell slaves. They decentralized the economies. There was no other game in town. So I think we forget that. Let's put it in this and let's put it in this measure. We can no longer buy and sell fruits, vegetables, shoes, and all that. The only thing we got is to snatch your motherfucking ass up. Some people you're gonna start getting snatched up. Like ain't no in between on that. Babies gotta get fed. Humans gonna eat. And we no longer have our normal trade economy. That has been decentralized. There's no more of that. And I think we should look into that. And I forgot that piece, that the only thing in town was slavery at this point. So now shit has been elevated. The shit that we already had has been elevated. So like I say this, we had what you call systems in place that were selling marijuana. This is just an example, right? Marijuana definitely ain't as crazy as fentanyl and heroin and cocaine. But the institution is in place, right? Selling marijuana. Europeans come in with the fentanyl. All right? So now they can just plug into the shit that's already there, yo. It can decentralize everything around you. Right? So now the only thing y'all can trade in is the fentanyl. That's devastation right there. And that's what happened. And I think that's an important part to talk about. And when you got a nation, and we always forget that she's a woman. She's not only a woman, she's a woman that's not even accepted by our own people based off some antiquated ideas around the woman. So she had to deal with all that. She had to deal with her son getting murdered based off some antiquated rules and regulations, right? The way she got dealt with, couldn't do nothing but sit there, right? And in the face of all that woman is a great example, I'm saying, for African-American women, because in the face of all of that, she still went and supported her brother. Even after her brother killed her kid, right? And made her sterile, right? Because it's an age-old antiquated African custom where, so they had it so when the Nzinga kid was born, he would be the next king or something like that. Tell me if I got it wrong, y'all let me know. But what we do know for a fact is this woman, even with her father on that bullshit, right? He was her father or brother. I think it was her brother. He was on that bullshit, right? And being on that bullshit, yo, she still went and negotiated deals with the Portuguese for him. The mistake made today was, crazy ass nigga, I'm probably mentioning his name, gonna say, She sat on the back of a little boy, some crazy ass shit. You know the nigga ain't never read nothing. Yo, what happened was the Portuguese, when they went to the room to negotiate, if you know anything about negotiations, it's based off of respect, honor, and royalty and power. What the Europeans do, they understand it. So they manipulate all situations. They play the games at the highest level. So there was no cheers there. Right? When she get in the room, the dignitary from the Portuguese, the governor, of course, right? He was sitting in the chair with the subjects there. So basically, right, when you come in front of a person that's sitting down with royalty, you gotta bow your motherfucking ass down. Because they're the authority in the room. Right? What she did was, right, her servant, which you want to call a servant or subject, acted as a chair so that when she sat down, she looked face to face with the European. Right? They was basically showing that this African nation is on par with what you're doing. And everything you do, we're gonna count that shit. Everything, every small thing, every dot, every tittle, the whole 9 yards that I'm for this. I'm with the smoke. And so she proceeded from that point going forward to defeat about 36 governors. Right? Europeans, 36 Portuguese governors, she defeated them one after one. So for me, that's hero status for me, right? The slavery part, we're going to have a good conversation on that, Because I think there's a lot of mischaracterizations, a lot of forgetting. There ain't no more trade left but that. And I mean, so I'm going to let somebody else jump in on that, DQ. Call him DQ.
He's smoked out right now.
In the smokehouse. But yeah, Chef, we forgot that part, They killed all the trade in the area, Find out if I made that up or not, Maybe I overwhooped it. I don't think I did.
Now, when she did the thing with the
chair
as the chair, right?
Mm-hmm.
That could be looked at as a negotiation tactic on her and to show her power and what she could give to the Portuguese, right? When she made the guy kneel down and she sat on his back, after negotiation, she got up and walked out. And they said, "You forgetting, your servant or your stool, right?" Talking about the slave. And she said, basically, keep it. And because in my nation, I got many stools, meaning many servants. Like I'm the pipeline to this shit that y'all really want. That's the real thing behind that. You know what I mean? Keep that. That's a gift. I got many more of those. I'm the pipeline. That's what I'm saying. She was making a play that she could be the biggest damn slave and ally to them. That's crazy to me, man. Like, I don't know how y'all look at it. Like, that was a slick thing. Like, that was, man, that's vicious. You know what I mean? That's vicious. Dang. Like, y'all don't have no heart for the goddamn person.
I'm trying to figure out how you moved the goalposts from Nzinga. And we were talking about Richard Lynn and the Shitashi guy and William Stokely. Why don't you address those issues? That part.
I don't even know them niggas.
Exactly. That's what I thought. You might want to read up on that. Okay.
What? Who you say? Shitashi? Who you say?
Shitashi Kawanana, I think is how you pronounce him. He still works as an economic professor at the London College of Economics, right? Okay. Staunch racist. He was in line with Richard Lynn. Okay, Richard Lynn. They were in cahoots with the Pioneer Fund. So was William Shockley. You get what I'm saying? And did you see any of the show when we were giving the nuances on the other side of it? Like, why would Dr. Francis Cress Welsing would write a book like the ISIS paper? What was the catalyst for that? Did you get that?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, how did she help us by writing that? What was the... So you write a racist book?
I've never needed no help from Dr. Francis Questling's book, though.
Right.
I don't know how that is even logical. What you mean how it helped us? There are thousands of more Black psychiatrists and psychologists. Thousands of more.
So
and we're also talking
but she didn't write a racist book, though.
Yeah, we're also talking in the time of William Shockley, which was a Nobel Peace Prize physicist and a staunch racist. She did a debate with him. You familiar?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So y'all should add those nuances in the conversation.
No.
Y'all just giving it like these Black intellectuals of their time was just crazy and just talking out the side of their neck. I wish y'all be more fair about the critique.
The ISIS papers ain't crazy and out the side of her neck.
It's no more crazy and out the side of her neck as the Pioneer Fund, Richard Lennon, William Shockley, and Shatashi. No more.
I don't know.
Their shit was probably worse. But you should go figure that out. You so busy trying to bash Nzinga, you can't even figure out the other shit. Go figure that out. And let's have a conversation.
Let's have this conversation right now.
Yeah, because these people still living. Like the Shatashi guy, he teaching people economics and how to be racist economics. Like, let's deal with the people that's still living, not the ones that's dead and gone. Because nobody in academia that I know is sharing the ISIS paper. Flat out, Black or white.
But that was our conversation, right? Was the ISIS papers and Francis Cress Welsing useful to us? That was our conversation. And I'm saying, if she wrote a racist book, how was that beneficial to us? It wasn't. That's the point. I ain't talking about the white people who wrote racist material. I'm saying her book was racist and it wasn't beneficial to us.
Is it in academia? Is her book in academia? Are they going to share that book in your psychology class or psychiatry class?
I hope
not. No, but they're not.
Know.
Because I don't think it was peer reviewed. She just put in the book. It was somewhat like her opinion. Something like a clapback. You get that? Because if I think if she was really serious about it, she would put it into peer review. She would have tried, right? I don't recall her even trying. I don't even call her even trying. I don't recall that.
She was playing about writing a racist book about white people.
It was no more racist than the people she responded to. Why don't you get that? Why don't you get that? She lived in a racist society in the 70s. What the hell is you talking about? We're not talking about Martin Luther King. We're talking about it. Francis Cress Welsing and fucking William Shockley, bro. That's what we're talking about. Deal with that.
I'm never gonna agree.
Nobody asked you to. What I said to you is you're going to talk about somebody, give both sides of the stories, give all the nuances. Don't be one-sided. That's what I said. I didn't ask you to agree with me.
Oh, yeah, I ain't agreeing with that. That's crazy.
Nobody asked you to. You must be needing a hearing aid. Nobody asked you to agree.
I need two of them.
Come on, y'all. So, hey, Chef, but you know what we did, though, right? So, and it was a real eye opener. Down in our chat, there's a what's the name of that article we read? The Winter
Cold Theory.
Okay, so the cold theory. So they got some jokers running around, and they sitting up there writing that, oh, well, because you live in an environment that's cold, then that makes you more intelligent. Because hey, it's cold and you gotta hunt different. You got a bigger brain, and then we find out that the bigger brain was just for heat insulation. But be that as well. They got a bigger brain and bigger bones, and on it goes. And the people at the time that Francis is out, they writing this stuff, and they like saying, well, that means that because Europeans or Eurasians had to hunt and live this way, that it made them smarter, right? So Francis, all she did, bro, was just take the flip side of that and say, well, okay, wait a minute. You got the same harsh conditions over in the savannah. so now who the smartest, right? So only thing she doing is pushing back against something that somebody wrote that's leaning one way because they in an environment, and she's saying, okay, I'm gonna lean this way because I got a whole bunch of stuff I can prove that because we have melanin, we need melanin to survive in this environment. So this is our advantage. All right, so it don't make her no more and racist than the other dude, right? She using what's available. So it's not a racist work. She just using what's available. That's what I got right here, and I can prove it from the same stuff you're using. I can take that, and the people that's pushing back against this guy, Shockley, did she taking their punch? Most likely, probably taking their because they push back against me. Like, nah, that doesn't make no sense. And she taking the same stuff, taking it over to the warm climate, i.e., that means you're gonna have more melanin, right? And saying, okay, so we superior too.
Fight stupid was stupid.
No, it's not stupid. It's the information ain't. Hold on, y'all.
That's not how you fight.
Wait a minute. Oh.
That's not how you fight that.
No, wait, everybody. Let me respond to you, Chef. No,
go ahead.
It's not fighting stupid with stupid. It's fighting with the information that's sitting right there in front of her face. That's all she got. She's making it up.
Listen, all of the other people of our time fought racism, right? The giants who shoulders we really stand on, they fought racism and white supremacy, and they didn't succumb to being racist or supremacists, right? So if that was the case, we revere Dr. Martin Luther King, a motherfucker who in the face of racism didn't succumb to being racist. See, that's African American history right there. You know what I mean?
Are you a member of the NOL?
Like Thurgood Marshall. You dig what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And within that legal framework that put us at the bottom end, he was able to craft and fight in that. He didn't start writing racist laws once he became a Supreme Court judge. He didn't start making racist laws to go against white people to fight that. That don't make sense. I'm not going to become a psychologist, and when I become a psychologist, my way of fighting against racism is to then become a racist. Yeah.
Isn't the NOI a black supremacist group?
Yes.
I'm good.
She was in the NOI. Praises God. She was in the Nation Islam.
Why are you saying she's racist?
Her book was racist. The ISIS papers. Y'all don't agree with that?
Was racist?
Yeah, I believe the ISIS papers is a racist book.
I don't
disagree. Okay.
I do.
You agree that it's racist or it's not racist?
No, I don't agree that it's racist. I think she used what she had there in front of her, and she may not have understood it as well or whatever, but she used that to fight what was being put out by a racist. And she just juxtaposed it. She said, okay, you saying that right there. I'm saying this right here. Okay, so what we doing here?
So she just did it for shits and giggles. So you basically said she just did it for shits and giggles.
No, she did it. She did it to fight a narrative that we were not intelligent as other groups because we came up in a different environment. That's what she's fighting.
To use their own argument against them. That's what she did. So she exposed the ludicrousy of their argument. If you're going to make the argument this way, then we can make the argument that way based on these same criteria that you're using. That's all that book. It was an undermining. It was an undermining of the position that was so popularly held. Well, if you can hold this position based on this, based on these same criteria, I can hold this position. What now?
So she was playing.
What else it was? It was a direct response to what was going on. Now, if it is a direct response to what was going on, how do you classify that? If the one isn't racist, if the one is wrong or misinformation, then why is she anything other?
So she was, so Cedric, you saying she was playing racist. She really wasn't racist.
Stupid, yo.
Her book was.
So what then you know he's gonna straw man.
Oh, no, you said it was a response to something. So if she really didn't, she basically, if y'all
you just learned that it was a response today, because if you knew that, I would think you would have included that.
No, listen. Even she was playing. I'm lost here.
I know he's lost. Let me read something to him, y'all. Can I read something to him?
No.
I want to go back to that.
Nah, let him get it for himself, because they don't care anyway.
No.
I only want to read like a little excerpt.
Do your thing.
Whoa.
Psychology today.
Hold on. Before you read that, hold on. I just want to make one statement.
Okay.
I'm never calling black people racist in the middle of the slave trade, Jim Crow, and the motherfucking 60s. I'm not doing it. I don't got the heart to do it. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like that's all right. So this is can you looking at the screen?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Who went?
Okay.
And the evolution of intelligence.
All right. There's continuing controversy about inter-ethnic differences in IQ and why these might exist. One of the most heated areas of debate is what role, if any, is played by genetic differences between ethnic groups. Richard Lynn, and they cite some stuff from them, proposed that because European and Asian environments feature extremely cold winters, the inhabitants of these regions historically face greater challenges to survival than Africans. He claimed that these survival challenges would have created selection pressures for greater intelligence. Africans, on the other hand, live in tropical conditions all year round and hence did not need as much intelligence. I'm gonna stop right there. All right, so if I sit here and say, yo, surviving in the desert, that's probably a lot harder than you surviving over where it's cold. So we can debate this all day. We can go back and forth all day. You see what I'm saying?
So this was she was fighting?
Yeah, she debated one of these cats, man. The same stuff, man. What's his name? Is that the Shockley guy?
No.
Somebody said this.
She debated William Shockley.
Yeah, I'm saying Lynn and all of this stuff is from the
they had
late 80s onward.
They had similar theories.
It's from hold on. What did he say? It's from when? It's from when?
The late 80s onward. These citations.
Thank you. That's Francis Cress Welsing time.
Oh my God.
No, Francis Cress Welsing was writing those articles. The ISIS papers is a collection of essays that she wrote in the 60s and the 70s and the early 80s. She compiled them all into one book in the 90s as the ISIS papers.
Oh my God.
So she already had these ideas and stuff. You know what I mean?
No,
yeah,
they already had the idea. Okay.
All right. So she's come back with William Shockley, which is in the 1960s. So William Shockley started his race theory in 1960. He was funded by the Pioneer Fund, who also was funding things like Richard, the Bell Curve, and Richard Lynn. So it's a whole group of wealthy individuals who are funding this idea that blacks are inferior to whites. The reason why I'm not going to jump out there and say that her paper is racist is because she's defining why white people feel as though they're superior. She's saying that this is the motivation for their racism. She's not actually saying this is why black people should be racist.
And if you blanket statement a whole group, right? And ascribe negative connotations to that group in a blanket statement, right? What is that called?
That's not what she did, though.
Wow. Y'all be throwing some punches like that. I don't even see coming. Like,
yeah, so listen. Hold on. Let me explain it. I don't say listen, if I say to you, the reason why white supremacy exists is for economics, that doesn't make me a racist. I'm explaining what is the root cause of why people are being racist. So when you look at the ISIS papers, most of it is describing the root cause on why Europeans feel the way they do about racism. Why are they being white supremacists? And she's saying the reason why they're being white supremacists is because of this idea of genetic annihilation. Now, that's not coming from her. If you actually go listen to what the people were saying in their day, they're saying that. They're saying, matter of fact, if you go look at Dylan Roof, who shot up that church in, I think it was Georgia.
South Carolina, Charleston. It was Charleston.
South Carolina, thank you. Charleston. You go listen to it. He's talking about black people taking white women. Like he's literally saying this is the reason why he's doing it. So you have that going on in the 1950s and 60s. Amalgamations. Remember the Lugging cases during the same time. So that is a fear that was being presented by Europeans about black and white people being together. And she's responding to that.
He said that white people were genetically defective, descendants of a recessive genetic mutants. If that's not racist, right? I maybe y'all teach me what racism is then. Like I ain't what are we about to do there?
Yeah, slick, man. You're trying to miss the point on purpose.
Somebody said something like that about black people. Would that not be considered racist?
But they were. They did. Everybody was saying that. Fuck, we got going on.
And we acknowledge that they're racist, right? That
no, it's the power. It's a power element to that, yo. Can we not forget the power? That's real. It's not perceived as real. There's a power element to this thing we call racism. Are we all on board with that, or we saying no? That's bullshit made up by black allies. What are we doing? Seriously, it's a question, Chef. See Breezy.
Hold on a second, but y'all. So
there's a power element.
White people, she described them as genetically defective descendants of recessive genetic mutants.
Slick. She got the mutant part right, and the other shit was extra wild.
Yeah, they definitely are mutated.
Yeah, mutation. That's
okay,
I don't. Mutated. Right.
Yeah, definitely mutated. That ain't wrong.
Yeah. All of us are mutated, but white
right hybrids.
That we just the opposite of that. They said we wasn't even humans, right?
Racist.
They said we couldn't think. Yeah.
I'm calling it down the middle.
No, it's not if it was a down the middle, y'all wouldn't even conversate with you. I'm saying, yeah, that's down the middle. But we talking 12 million people, yo. Brought to the Americas. This the latest count, right? Based off of that, we talking nobody brought to nowhere. It's just a woman in the era with people using that shit against her. She fighting that shit back. She say the opposite of it. No, you the one
who don't get to say stuff like that, huh?
You do.
He don't get to do that.
Not now, you don't. I'm not too sure now. But you can do it against another person that's doing that, though.
You would say that.
Why would you do that?
You would say that. You would say that in a time where there wasn't a lot of black voices speaking up and against people like that. like the Richard Lynns,
I had
like the
white
William
friends,
Shockleys.
right?
I don't care about your white friend. That would be anecdotal.
listen,
We're
I don't say
talking.
that.
No, I'm
We're
showing
talking
you how human decency
about
works.
a time
I'm showing
when
you how
a black
human
woman
decency works,
at the
though.
crossroads of intersectionality would speak up against the racism and give an alternative view. That's like a type of owning your power. Also gave rise to other black people, including women, to speak up about anything. Like it was a cultural thing. She didn't have to be right. It was just her taking the initiative to speak up and against them when most people wouldn't fight back a Nobel Peace Prize winner like William Shockley or Richard Lynn, who are backed by some of the finest universities on earth. Like, come on, it's not down the middle. They still have their jobs. She got fired from Howard. So it's not down the middle.
Gotta be 70-30, yo. No, 90-10 or something. Come on, yo. We can't do that. I think the day be real out of order, Chef, to be honest with you.
No, it was always out of order. It was always out of order. And if I had white friends, right, and a white person, right, says something racist to me, do I then in turn insult all white people because that one white person said something crazy to me? Like, is that...
That's a terrible
that
example.
doesn't make sense.
A horrible example.
This is all the way out.
Let me get it out.
People, Jeff, come on. That's a false.
Let them get it out, bro. Let them get it out.
No, it's not. Check it out. You address as being a degree person, as intelligent as she is. She could have addressed their nonsense with her education instead of going the racist route and then blanketing a whole group of people because she's trying to get at these three racist guys. Like, that's crazy.
I like that. Don't move from that point right there. Hold up, y'all. Hold up, y'all. Let me say something to him.
First of all, hold on. First of all, you missed.
Everybody say, hold on.
It's a whole fund of
get that nigga. Y'all gonna get that.
It's not three. Hold on, listen. It's not three people. It's not three. It's not three people. It's an organization that has numerous people throughout the world promoting race science. It's not three people. It's organized. It's funded. Go look up the Pioneer Fund. You'll read the whole thing. It's not even like they hide it. They openly admit. One of the leaders of the thing said, "I'm an open racist." It's not making it up. That's who she's fighting against.
Yeah. White power, yo.
I think to try to minimize that, to act like we ain't talking about during the middle of the civil rights movement.
Right. And they're academics.
The middle of Black Power movement.
Yeah, go ahead. No, Chris, go ahead. Get the point.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
let me say this to Chef, because I like the point Chef made. Like, okay, they said something, she's supposed to be educated and respond with that. She did. That's the point.
What?
Yes. What do you want her to go get at that time that she's writing this stuff that's combating that? This is the standard. This is what they're saying. Okay, this stuff right here is what's accurate. So everybody reading this in all your schools and all that jazz. And now, what do you want her to go read to combat? No.
You go to get test scores. You go get different metrics that prove that African Americans are not inferior. You know what I mean? Far as wise their intelligence. You go and do it the right way. Who funding this? Who funding this? Wait a minute. You don't go and label the other group inferior as a way to fight against. Man, that don't. If that was the case, why Martin Luther King and them ain't doing it? If that's the right way to do it.
Advancements that were made, right, by people that fought the racist stuff.
Huh?
No, come on. People all over the country take Prevagen for their brain. In fact, number one selling brain supplement nationwide for over 10 years. The most important supplement for the most important part of you. Try Prevagen for your brain today. So much stuff.
Move past pain with Vicks Vapor Freeze. Get hours of pain relief with maximum strength menthol, plus powerful Vicks Vapors. Vapor Freeze your pain.
Bombas is a simple idea. Buy a sock, give a sock. Buy a sock, give a sock. Exactly, Cookie. You bought 150 million of these, and we've donated 150 million of these. Visit bombas.com and get 20% off your first order.
When allergies throw a sucker punch, the power of Claritin punches back harder. Nothing is proven more powerful for 24-hour non-drowsy relief. Claritin clears. Now try Claritin.
Yeah, it's the air conditioner been working good today. If I cut the air down, then it's gonna be acting crazy all night.
You can find your dream home today. So work with number one and make it real with Realtor.com.
Without doing it. Yeah, I like Martin, and 2 years later got his head blown off, and that's my main man. 20 grand got his head blown off, right? With that, my man. No, it kind of show you that, man. Duck nigga, because you thinking this, but it's that. And remember, he kind of changed his stance a little bit, but I'm not worried about that. No,
when did he become racist?
No, I'm saying I think Martin had to do it the way he did it. Malcolm had to do it the way he did it, and it's a collective effort. Y'all forget that the movement you was part of was a movement to support Africa, like it's to capture our identity. Martin didn't give a fuck about our identity like that. He was on the civil rights and different things, bro. So we keep acting like they're all separate. No, it's different aspects of the fight, yo. And I know y'all can recognize this. Dr. Ben and all of them is on the. It's based on. Hello? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we got it.
No, my son, he gaslight. I ain't figure out whose side he was on yet. I'm gonna figure out. He's gonna tell me whose side he on. Man, watch. I'm saying, he raised me. So yeah, man, I'm saying we're forgetting that Francis Cress Welding, people that spoke in this theater, they was representing like that African thing. You know, like I like to do. Right, like I love Africa, and I love African American. I love African American culture. Right, I think we have a culture that can push us forward. In the 25th century, I talk about these things. Right, they was there. Martin was on. We're gonna go with the church people. Ain't nobody trying to hear that shit, Martin. Man, fuck Christianity, Martin. For real, dog. We fucking with African shit. That's what we doing. So you got that, but they're all African Americans. Right? And so I'm not going to knock the way he was doing it. At the end, with hindsight, Martin's method, you know what I'm saying, ended up being the one that kind of pushes through. So come on, bro. I'm not like, y'all can pick and choose who you want, yo, but all of it was in the game. That's all I'm saying, yo. Let's not forget that.
Nah, so who was right?
I think Martin was right. I think we do a good job on pushing the whole thing forward, yo, and making people not forget where they came from or you will return, and pushing scientific literacy with context is important. And I think we just make us a whole lot smarter, yo, and we grow, we grow from the steps, yo. And who was right? I think all of them are at the end of the day, yo. It was pressure from all different avenues that made them people jump into that motherfucking courtroom and do what they had to do, yo. It wasn't just that pressure. It was pressure from different white people, pressure from different African American groups, and you know, Martin Luther King and them, right? They did the boycotts, they did different things like that. But people from different groups was all a part of that shit too, yo. We act like it was a monolithic group that went against European colonialism. It wasn't, yo. A lot of good ideas there, a lot of bad ideas. Like, nigga, we throwing the kitchen sink at y'all wild motherfuckers, because y'all some wild motherfuckers. And, oh, by the way, you got a Francis Cress Weldon hitting y'all with the extraordinary shit that y'all just hit us with. Bing, bang, boom, nigga. That's what it was. Bing, bang, boom, nigga. Oh, y'all got genetic superior. Nah, nigga, bing, bang, boom. I'll color make us superior. Yo, if a nigga hit you in the head with a cup, and you hit the nigga with a glass bottle, yo, you got him. Nigga, why you hit me in the head with a cup? We supposed been fighting straight up and down. You cheated, so I double cheated on you. Hey, that's par for the court. He took 12 million. We couldn't have our rights. So bing, bang, boom. It's cops and robbers, yo, at this point. And it ain't fair. It ain't in our favor, yo. We don't got much. Yeah, at the end of the day, for you to break out with that shit in the middle of the street on a soapbox, you're a damn flaming ass pseudo. You lost your mind, yo. Check that shit, yo. Yeah, so check that shit.
So if there was black psychologists at the time, right, who we can go look up, if that wasn't their measure to fight back, if they fought back with statistics and all of the others, the right way to do it, right, then how could we keep saying that Frances Cress Welsing was justified? That don't make like she wasn't.
No, that got to be addressed, Chef. But go ahead, let somebody else address that. That's a great point, bro.
I'm going to address it. I'm going to address it by saying, despite these people being dead, after Richard Lynn died, the Pioneer Fund changed their name to Human Diversity Foundation, which is a far-right company founded in 2022 to publish race science through the Apora magazine and Mankind Quarterly. Now, when that didn't work out for them, in April 2025, the organization was legally named Polygenic Scores LLC. Y'all miss me with all that BS.
That's a bomb drop. That's a bomb drop. No, wait a minute, Jeff. Look at my screen.
You be arguing with Betty or somebody. Not
no,
me.
but we doing it.
I'm not supporting nobody.
We arguing with you right now. It's you, Muhammad Nubian.
Hey, yeah, I'm Nubian. Why you doing it just like that?
No, Chef. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying, if you got an artillery unit, we need an artillery unit, yo. If you got a stealth unit, we need a stealth unit, yo. If you got troops that can navigate waters, we need troops to navigate waters. If you got a bunch of wild ass cowboys, we need another group of wild ass cowboys. You got to match on them. No match.
Wild ass cowboy. Okay. Look at now and stuff.
Yeah, yo. I'm just telling you, yo. Like, I'm not mad, yo, at that shooting like that, yo. Like, I'm like, okay. That slowed they motherfucking ass down and made them realize how crazy they were. Oh shit, what she say? And motherfuckers start to say, oh shit, really? Oh shit, yeah. It made everybody take a step back. Trust me, it's a step back. It's when you jump out with the extraordinary gun. Niggas was shooting no 22. You come with the boom, 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 boom. You say, oh shit, what's that? That's what that was, yo. That's the old shit. What's that?
Let me read the Chef about the environment.
To fight that organization. You just said you don't support them, but you're not in a position to fight them. She took them head on, and she used what she used that was available at the time, as Joel is continuously saying, right? She was fighting them toe to toe with the information and the data that was available. What she was doing was undermining their position by putting it right back in their face. You can't fight that. That is a valid strategy, Chef.
No, we should have sent somebody else.
Chef, you get on my nerves, yo.
Who's she gonna send? That rhetoric is still being pushed and moved today, and I just gave you evidence. So what are you talking about? The dude is still teaching at the London College of Economics, speaking on racial inferiority. What is you talking about? I respect you more if you dealt with the problem. Those people are the real problem because they're organized, like we told you. But you're peddling with Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. She's dead, my guy. Nobody's reading that in college. Nobody's reading that in college, bro. You act like it's the worst thing that happened in Black human history. Bro,
no, that's just what
chill.
we're talking about right now.
Whatever.
I'm having a conversation.
Talk about the full story and give all the nuances. Give the real game. And y'all not.
Listen, that is amazing that y'all just connected that the reason why she wrote it was to fight against the racists who wrote crazy stuff about black people.
I'm gonna read it to you. This one I'm prepared.
Are you saying that's not true, Chef? Are you saying that's not the reason why she wrote it?
No, I'm saying y'all teaching me something. She didn't really believe it. She just wrote it for shits and giggles. So I mean,
nobody said that. Nobody said that. You made that up. You made that up in your demented head. Nobody said that. What we're saying, it could be opinion. She may not have considered to be scientific or more or less opinion based on the racist opinions that they were spewing in an organized form. We don't know. If she considered it science, she probably would have put it up for peer review. I don't have any evidence that she did that. She had her work published, though. She definitely had it published for others to read and see and formulate their own opinions. But now we know the backstory, and that was the purpose of the show, is to give the backstory.
I've seen Frances Cress Welsing here at Sojourner Douglas College with Renova Rashidi, and she sat up there and talked about her theories and all of that, and she ain't not one time say she was playing, you know what I mean? Or she, no.
But we didn't say she was playing. We never said she was playing. I don't know why you keep bringing that up. What one time did we said she was playing? I'm sure she was dead serious. Listen, you're not listening. The dichotomy is, was she really trying to be academic or was it an opinion piece? And professionals are allowed to do that.
And again, she was responding using their same parameters that would make it either your arguments are completely flawed because they work both ways. So that makes it false.
My arguments are the only ones that's completely flawed. But what y'all saying is, okay, Joe, stop reading, Joe. I'm waiting.
I'm just messing with you.
Because I'm the only one that sounds crazy. Y'all don't think y'all sound crazy.
She's wide open.
In time to a particular
Steph, in 2025, yo. 2025, based off of the Civil Rights Act and all that shit being passed, based off of the fact that we can go, we want to go, based off the fact we use bathrooms, based off the fact we ain't got to worry about getting hung and dead. Based off of that, yeah, you sound crazy. But in the time you're talking about, it sound real sane and accurate, yo. It sound like a boom, boom, boom back off of you, yo. That's what it sound like.
Yeah, that's anachronistic. You need to look up that word, Chef.
So let's look up black psychologists that agree with that.
Hindsight is 2020, and again, with all the advancements that we have made to be able to be included in studies, etc., to come to the accurate conclusion that data wasn't there. But who was going to fund the 30-year study that while these arguments were being made in real time? Yeah? She's responding using their parameters and showing how flawed they are. Because if you go this way, then I could go that way. Or if you're this, then this also goes with it. Check onto the cradle theory. Y'all in that depravity, y'all smarter, that made y'all also more uncivilized and more savage. That's why y'all engaging and taking over the world. That was a response to what the claims that were being made. And what you're doing, Chef, again, you're arguing a dead woman while this science is being taught today.
Her dead doesn't mean anything.
I'm going to bed. I'll get y'all
still got a book.
Yeah, I'm gone.
She still got a book that's out that people read. It was black psychologists.
And the book came out in 91. It didn't come out in the 70s when she debated dude. It came out in 91. And to be fair, there was a response from black and white academics.
Exactly.
To both of those motherfuckers in that 74 debate on PBS. They both black white academics said they both crazy as hell.
Exactly.
I like that. Because then we even.
It is what it
I
is.
like it. Yep,
she
I like
produced that book in 91. It wasn't like she came out with it in the 70s. And not to mention, she worked for the Department of Human Services for 24 years. So she didn't use none of that in her practice. She worked for DC school areas. She didn't take none of that into her practice. She just put it out to us in the book in 91. So
right, as an opinion piece. As an opinion piece. Exactly. That's what an opinion piece would be, though.
Expounded opinion when you start talking about genetic arguments and stuff like that.
Hey, psychiatry is an interdisciplinary field. It can speak on biology, which will include genetics and evolution. We know that. So I don't know what that's a problem.
No, see, Breezy makes your point. You're right. She didn't see. Right, that's an opinion. Yeah, she got a right to opinion. I ain't tripping.
Yeah, Trimedia is live right now, and they're having a hissy fit because we called them Uncle Tom. So, I think we need to apologize.
That was the show from this morning.
I mean, Uncle Tom is actually the good guy. It's Sambo that is negative. It's the Uncle Ruckus, and we were talking about Chief X. I'm just go ahead, chillin' boy.
Yeah, we can hear you. You don't feed.
I'm not saying that Wilson's work is like Kenneth and Mammy Clark. That's not what I'm saying.
Oh, what?
I don't think nobody said that.
Yeah, no, you don't know who Kenneth and Mammy Clark is? You don't know who that is?
And I mean, of course, it's not going to be taught because it was never based in nothing that you could probably utilize in academia. However, whether you've never read Francis Cress Welson's work, I can guarantee you ask a vast majority of Black folks today what melanin means to them, they're not going to say it's something that protects me from UV from the sun. You can look on IG, all the melanin popping from all the little baddies on IG. You can find it everywhere, that people's idea of this thing, you can trace it back. And long before Cress Welson, I don't even give her the whole thing. That's Neely Fuller and somebody else from non-academia that she brought and made it into, somewhat of a thesis or some theory that we can kind of use to formulate. But, end of the day, it's still around whether you want to believe it or not.
Chilimwe, were you done speaking?
No.
Continue.
So, do y'all know who Kenneth and Mammy Clark is? Do y'all know who they are?
I don't.
No. They are one of the most prominent cases they use for Brown versus the Board of Education. It's the Black Dog test. That's
oh yeah, the two psychologists, husband and wife.
Right. So I'm not denying that there were plenty of people out there who was putting in work differently. My point is that there was it's almost like I hate to bring this up, the supposing, right, that the Black Egypt supposing that we always talking about, right? You got a group of individuals who saying they're really white, and you got a group who's saying no, they were all Black uniformly. So you got a middle group who's trying to get to the nitty gritty without having these racial dynamics piled on top of it, right? Neither groups are getting, none of the three groups are getting pushed out saying, oh, they pseudo or none of that is going on. They're still in the conversation. They're just on the fringes. So Francis Cress Welson's book is on the fringe, right? She's using, y'all talk about the dominant and recessive, right? But many people misunderstand that even to this day when we talk about Mendelian effects on genetics. Like, we still use those same similar terminologies even today. Big X, little x, mixed with a big X, little x. So when we look at things like sickle cell anemia, right? 1 out of 4 children have the probability of having the disease because they get both recessive genes tied together. So that's still part of the conversation. And if you look back during the 60s, 70s, and 80s, there was no doubt about it in the framework that Black people could replace white people.
Because you're only human, there's hills. Science does more.
No, you know. No, I get it. You know what I mean? But y'all bring a perspective to the conversation that, I guess is needed. Somebody got to defend it.
Nah, I don't. Yeah. I think we're just defending people's right to fight against their oppression the way they see fit, yo. People, period, in general. not just human beings being oppressed in extreme situations, yo. That's what I'm fighting for, yo. The names don't change, yo. Names don't. It ain't the name. It's the oppression. It's Adolf Hitler, yo. You wouldn't like they give you stories like in Nazi Hitler where Jewish people was actually turning their friends, yo. And you would say, why, nigga? Because they was gonna kill their whole family, yo. That's why. It's extreme, yo.
Right. So in normal circumstances, she wouldn't have been racist. Basically, the circumstance. You're saying that the circumstances of her time is what made her write that racism. Naturally, she wouldn't have did.
Can you prove that she would write this shit any other time, yo? If shit was like, right now, with all we got and the moves we made and the whole, could you imagine her doing that right now, yo? Come on, like that, man. This shit, man. You gotta be a super nut these days to talk.
I'm saying, bro. And this is why I just have it kind of troubles me when you put this in perspective. Like her first paper came out, I think it was in the 70s. I think it was 1970, if I'm not mistaken. But from 1970 up until 1991, nothing evolved in her theory. It's like you can't say that by 91 that was still, I don't know, bro. Like that's a stretch. Wow.
So
working for the government, working for school districts, like there's no way that she kept.
She just getting racist. She just
getting racist.
Yeah, it's like
she just getting more racist.
So that's wrong. So her first publishing was in 1982. Her essay on the crest theory of color confrontational racism was in 1970, and we still got an extension, and we still have an extension of the Pioneers Fund that's still alive and kicking. So I don't see the problem. Those people still haven't changed their stance. So I don't get it. She's dead. They're still alive. They're still teaching in universities. They're still pushing race science, period. And the book Isis Paper was a compilation of essays. And these would be essays that she wrote, over time, and she decided to put them in the book. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. So, of course, it would come out in 1982 and 1970 because I think the Isis Paper is actually the bulk of her essays in a compilation, just to give the correct nuance to that. It wasn't about her, correcting. Like, it is what it is. She has the right to her opinion. As did Shockley, as did Lynn, as did Kawazana, whatever his name is, Satoshi.
So in 91, you can't look back at something you wrote in 1970 and realize maybe I shouldn't put this in my book. Like, I don't even think like that no more. But then to go on,
you would think that the Ku Klux Klan wouldn't exist, but they're still here in 2025. What's the point?
She went all around Black America peddling that nonsense to us. What, to make us racist?
How did Black people receive that? How did people receive it?
Nigga, we stood up and clapped.
I know, so you mad, yo?
Yeah,
why would you be mad, yo? Maybe that's what people wanted, though. You gotta get the people that's what they wanted, obviously.
Hold on. If white people denounce the racists amongst them, if they look down at the Ku Klux Klan and skinheads, you telling me that Black people supposed to stand up and clap for that racism?
No. I'm telling you that. I'm telling you, wait on it, nigga. We still waiting on reparations, motherfucker. Wait on it. Wait on it. We coming. We gonna catch up to you. We're glad y'all finally caught to us. Yeah. Appreciate you, buddy, for catching up to us. Really appreciate you, guy. Way to go. Hey, cheering the cheers.
I give you reparations when biologically I didn't have a choice in being racist and committing slavery against you. Because biologically, my genetic recessiveness made me enabled to be to have empathy, right? Because I was in this cold weather that my brain was nurtured in, it damaged my genes. So it ain't my fault I did you like that, bro. It was nature.
So in the Iceman and Heritage, it literally talks about similar to the cold theory, but from a different perspective, that those, humans that evolved in very cold climates were more prone to violence and like moral deviance and things like that. I think it was more of questioning, besides slavery being most civilizations, how could a certain group of people inflict chattel slavery on Africans and indigenous peoples, but continue with it and evolve it. So a lot of like the Iceman heritage is explaining more of that, right? Yeah. So and
by another racist. This was another racist.
yeah, the Iceman heritage was actually by a white guy. So I don't know how he would be racist to his own people. I'm thinking he probably wasn't racist to his own people. Probably was married to a white woman. However, he could see the flaws in certain things, and that again was his opinion about it.
So if a black person can't be racist towards other black people.
So I don't believe people can be racist if you don't have a power system to demonstrate or exhibit that racism. That's my opinion on race. So black people can be prejudiced. I do not agree that black people can be outwardly racist in the same sense.
So this guy made a blanket statement about white people and talked about that, that their genetic
no, it wasn't a blanket statement. He was giving
that is a blanket
he was giving
statement.
It wasn't a blanket statement. It was a very thought out perspective on human evolution in cold climates. It's not a blanket statement. A blanket statement would be all white people are racist. And that wasn't in the book, Sheffrin. Learn your definitions. There's not a blanket statement, a whole fucking book.
Yeah, you just arguing at this point.
You've been arguing at this. You're just arguing at this point for the last hour. We were trying to close out the show. So Nubia and Muhammad want to come up here and give us 2 cents on the Zingar. Couldn't even stay on subject.
If I say blue, you gonna say red right now, Gigi. Purple. It's gonna be different.
Purple.
No, talk about it. Just get it right. You just wasn't right on the facts. I gave you the nuances. That's it. I can't do that for you. You're gonna talk about it. Be right about it.
You're deliberately being combative.
No. So you don't know part of racism, part of the definition is the power dynamic to it though. Like if you just look at it because you don't like me and all that, like how the fuck does that? It takes power to get 12 million people over here, yo. It take naval power, it take arms, it take having the ability to supply, it takes technology, it take a whole lot to do that, bro. You said what?
No, I'm just trolling, bro.
Oh.
So black people can't be racist?
No. She did a thing though. She got them wild niggas up out of there.
Wait, are we saying when Francis question, like I said, she worked for the Department of Human Services as a staff position for 24 years.
Is that before or after Howard? Was that before or after Howard? After she got fired?
It was after.
Okay.
She worked for the Department of Human Services. I think it was from like 70 something to 1991. She scanned her government badge every day, went in there. I'm sure to white and black kids. She worked in DC schools with both white and black kids. I'm sure when she treated a kid, diagnosed them, prescribed them some treatment, she never said you have a genetic defective thing going on in her prescriptions or in any of her diagnosis. Like
to a white kid? You said a white kid?
To anybody, to any kid. None of her practice was based on any of her most notable work.
So what does that? So what does that tell you? What does that tell you?
Pseudo, and she believed.
What does that tell you?
She believed her own work.
If she never used it in her own work, I mean, what does that actually tell you?
I mean, I would think if she laid out these important biological factors to say this is behavior.
Y'all ain't heard the show. Y'all should have listened to the beginning of the show.
Into practice.
Yeah, we kind of disagree. You probably should go back and hear it.
Because I know police officers who go to work every day, racist as hell. Every day they go to work. The fuck? I don't know how that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't get that.
I don't know. I'm wild. Y'all beat me down to y'all level.
All right. Well, I think we're just gonna end this. I think we're gonna end the discussion right now. I'll let you get in. I think we made our point. We just wanted to analyze the nuances, like why do people do what they do? And this point, why did Frances Cress Welsing do what she does? And there was some strong evidence to why. And I don't fault her for it. Do we agree with the work? Absolutely not. Is it pseudo work? I don't know if it's pseudo, but it's definitely wrong, and it does not stand to scientific rigor. That we all agree on. However, she's dead and gone. However, you have plenty of Black psychiatrists and psychologists who are doing really good work. So, and a lot of times you're not going to find ISIS papers in an academic setting. You're going to find it on the street corner. And I'm going to finish. Please don't speak over me. You're going to find it on the street corner. And the reason why I say that is because my theory, my own personal theory, is that this disconnect is because we try to take academia to the street corner instead of keeping it in the schools, keeping it where it could have rigor, where it can be peer reviewed. So now we understand the importance of academic spaces. So that's where we have to keep our thoughts and idea on anything. And if they don't, win the test of rigor and scientific method or peer review, then we have to throw those things out and figure out something else. I think that's a great lesson more so. So, Bobby? Dang.
Hey, I think I'm glad the coach could get it right. Right, and the opinions in the court. We have a raggedy court. We have a raggedy court at this point. Everybody get to have their own opinion.
Oh,
so big up to the raggedy court.
Somebody must have said that.
And big up to the Ruckuses.
The Uncle Ruckuses and the Sambos. No, Uncle Tom was actually a good guy. It's the Sambo and the Uncle Ruckuses. Uncle Tom was that nigga for real. He was a good guy. But
Chef said he was both. Then Chef said he was both.
I hate you, Chef. That's funny. But thank you for your input, said Breeze.
I want to talk about how they called themselves.
Dang, I'm trying to end the show.
No, explain that. I'm gonna put them on the question stand. Hey,
let me say this. Hold on. Let me say this before you're in the show.
Oh, hold on. I'm asking them a question. Chef, why'd you say that, folks? What was your thinking behind that, sir?
That when I was over here, we got called Uncle Toms a lot by different people in the chat and stuff. So it seems as though you get called the Uncle Tom.
What you mean over here? You mean on the YouTube?
When I was Pseudo Killer. No. When I was Pseudo Killer, I remember every time we would bring correct information and try to correct misinformation, we was labeled as Uncle Tom.
You were labeled as Uncle Tom.
That was Uncle Tom information.
Now you were labeled as Uncle Tom. Don't put that on us. Shoot. You were. We weren't.
Right. So the moment we start calling out certain things, when we start getting called Uncle Tom, I think Uncle Tom's, I feel like we must be doing, you know what I mean, the Lord's work. You dig what I'm saying?
So that's why you took it upon yourself to take me making a statement in the air in the middle of having fun and hyperbole and place it on yourself. Is that the reason why you did that?
And we were talking about Queef, little X. Like you wouldn't even where we was talking about one individual and y'all threw yourselves.
Hey, Juju, don't do it. Brash told me to make sure I keep the Uncle Ruckus on his name. So I'm gonna keep it on his name. He said that. I felt like he wasn't that.
Yeah, they stupid as
he
shit.
Said, no, I'm not gonna let you change it. So okay, I'm no problem. He said that. I didn't say that.
I'm just, both him and Chef said it. So Uncle Ruckus 1 and 2. I got y'all. I'm with y'all. Man, I don't know why y'all want to call yourself that.
I mean, whoever go on the back reporting,
Hey, Drew,
they need to get that shit right. It wasn't even about.
Hey, Juju.
Yeah.
Hey, quick question. How do you keep the names up when you stream in the Discord on YouTube?
I don't know.
None of your business.
I don't even know, Sabri. No, there is a way you can. There's a way you can do it.
Huh?
Okay.
I don't know.
I was just curious. I didn't know you could. I know it always goes away.
Yeah.
Yeah, our names don't be up like this. That's true.
Cause y'all
people don't be knowing.
Cause y'all Uncle Ruckuses. That's why.
Man, literally. But we gonna get hit.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Do y'all hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Chum Boy.
I'm half white and black. I just be having internal arguments according to these old dollars. I'm just so confused internally. I'm just all messed up.
A confused mulatto. It's okay. Go ahead, Chum Boy.
A great book written by a black psychologist at the time is Even the Rat Was White. And I think if you read that book, you'll get a good idea of the environment they was in. I think the guy's name is Guthrie or Guther or something like that. Black psychologist. Book, even the rats were white, something like that. Great book. Good read. It'll give you a good cultural context of what was going on at that time.
What's it called? What's it called again?
Even the rat was white or something like that.
Well, what about the one the psychologist told you to read, yo? The crazy one about the evil shit. Remember that?
Oh, the Anatomy of Violence. That's a good book, but it's a tearjerker. So if you read it, give yourself some time to think it through. Because it's
with just black people, white people, what?
It just deals with violence as a whole, about the propensity of violence, some of the conditions that lead to violence. Like they did a study in Tanzania about resting heart rates for children, and if your resting heart rate was actually high, you had a high propensity to commit violent crimes. It's wild when they get into all the details of it. That's called the Anatomy of Violence. But again, when you read it, be prepared to hear about some very harsh stories. Like it's not a book you want to read with your children. Or if you have any type of emotional sympathy, anything like that, high levels of it, you might wonder.
What about trauma?
I
think some of them might have a certain type of physical trauma, like abusive physical trauma. You think they would be triggered by the book?
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, that you might want to avoid that if you've been a victim of any type of violence. I'm not saying don't read it. I'm just saying take caution with it because it's a very, very it's a tough read, man. They give some details about some stuff. I was like, dang. That means something. Anyway, I would suggest that book to read it. If you wanted to look into more about black psychologists and their struggle to define it and look at some of the practices that were going on during the 70s and 80s. 60s and 70s, I mean.
Facts. Miss Tiffany, did you have any final words?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Cedric, did you have any final words?
No, I'm good. I'm pretty good.
Go ahead, God kill. And that was a joke, said Breeze. I was just kidding.
I won't go back to the Uncle Ruckus. I won't go back to the Uncle Ruckuses. Chef, I'm not going to acquiesce to your faulty premise and call yourself Uncle Ruckus. Brass, I'm not going to listen to you with that nonsense, right? I'm not going to do it. Although y'all want me to call you that, I'm not going to do it. All right, so I'm done. There you go. Go ahead, Juju.
Me too.
Hurry up, Juju sister. Act you on.
They put the what on?
Sister Act you.
Well-organized lie. Well-organized lie.
I'm not playing with you. I ain't playing with you.
A pseudo gon' die, they saw a pseudo killer. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunslinger. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunslinger. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunslinger. Pseudo gon' die, they saw a pseudo killer.
Thanks for coming by, Prime Media.
I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunslinger. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunslinger. People bringing misinformation when that information ain't disinformation. That's disinformation. Gotta know the difference in information. Get information with the pseudo killer army hunting pseudo. Cause you gotta train your mind to fight against the pseudo judo. People with the scholarship salute, we give them kudos. But the people with that look of shit, we look and see straight through those like telescope. If you ain't speaking fast, we gotta tell them folks and let them know the truth of. You bringing malinformation to blast, then you the Ku Klux. Like say, don't talk me to death, bro, what the proof of? Good juju chillin', why you wanna go way bad juju up? Shalom boy got the tank in the cut. I'm in Sosa world plotting on the kick though with Kent. Come in Tiffany gave me the pseudo names on the list and said went and got the low. Anthony got him in the scope, Gullah and Gozy. Make sure DNA ain't a problem for them folks, cause a pseudo gon' die, they saw us. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunslinger. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunslinger. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunslinger. Pseudo gon' die, they saw us. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunslinger. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunslinger. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunslinger.
We're not attacking individuals. We're attacking the information.
We're not attacking. Y'all hear the music?
This is long time coming right here.
Killer. Pseudo killer, pseudo killer. Pseudo killer, pseudo killer. Pseudo killer. Pseudo killer, pseudo killer.
No. I don't want to get that around all the